Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me how to dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money,
Big
money!
money!
Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it!
And welcome to another episode of the Value Pack. Today we're doing things a little differently. I'm starting off with the opening intro here. Rezlar will be starting us off with the topics, but we're going to be going over quite a few changes that happened in the Global Labs notes, as well as the regular patch notes as well for live. First things first, we want to thank our sponsors. I'm going to start with Wavesy, because that's going to be easiest for me to say. I'm going to butcher the hell out of all of these, so apologize in advance. We got Thanks. We have Talos, Septum. We have Slytech, Manara. We have Melt in Your Mouth, Kalahad, Jeremy Johnson.
You're doing great. Keep going.
High End, and the last but not least, it's going to be the most difficult. I'm just going to say Floridian Jesus.
You didn't even try!
His name
There's
is...
no way in hell.
what do you think it says, Nyashi, before I say what it actually is?
Hi Jesus.
It's-
I can't.
It's I has issues.
I do have issues, actually. I have issues saying this name.
Oh my god, dude.
Holy shit. You nailed it, dude. You nailed it. Good job. Yes, okay, so a lot of stuff to get to today. First thing on the docket, we gotta talk about guard changes. Specifically excuse me, I'm still dying. I think more specifically, I think it would be appropriate to call it guard break changes. So I have the notes up right here, so let me just read these. Let's see here. Yada 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 yada. Okay. All characters rearward movement guards, and if the guards are destroyed while using the following skills, the guards are destroyed and the guards cannot be recovered. If the guard gauge is 0, it has been changed so that it does not become a front guard even if you move backwards. Changed so that the front guard effect is not applied during guard destruction. When guard gauge is 0, the following skills are not activated. Then it gives a couple different skills that I presume require blocks to use. Following skills. That one doesn't.
These are all the skills that you have to actually like press the skill button to use the block.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why Zerker is not up there, and that's what throws me off because I don't know what these are, what these skills are. So essentially, they are changing guards. So once it hits 0, it effectively breaks, and you can no longer use like these skills. They also I'm just trying to hit the highlights. I don't want to just go reading the notes. I don't see where is the 5-second delay thing.
So they don't actually mention the time in the notes. Yeah, we had to test it in Global Labs to mention it.
Really? They didn't put it in the notes?
They just say for a period of time.
Okay, well, okay. So let me explain that change then, since
it could be subject to change.
Since it doesn't explicitly say it in the notes. So right now on Global Labs, your break hits 0. It does not recover. Your guard hits 0. It does not recover for 5 seconds, correct?
Yeah, and you get a similar debuff on your bar that you would get from a Corsair, the purple shield thing.
Right. So it doesn't recover for 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, it'll start to recover again, presumably. This obviously has major implications for everyone, in all honesty, because for some strange reason, this is not narrowly targeted. And I guess this is where we'll kind of jump into the broad discussion of we've talked about this before when they mentioned that they were going to be looking into how to deal with blocks, and then it was either last week or the week before they mentioned something about S blocks. Frosty, you were like, I think I think that there's a mistranslation here. They think when we say SA blocks, we mean S blocks, and this is presumably the result of that, where now any block S or SA that hits 0 can't regen for 5 seconds, which is probably a good thing for SA blocks, but probably not a good thing for S blocks. What are we feeling about this? I mean, we all know how we feel about this because we talked about this in our chat. But like,
Nashi, what are you feeling about this?
yeah, Nashi, you're the resident blader. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, ultimately, it's going to be pretty difficult for the classes that don't have a lot of protections that utilize their frontal guards a lot. It's 5 seconds is going to feel like a long time, honestly. Like, in 1v1 scenarios when you're being pressured, that's going to feel like forever. In large scale, it'll probably feel like forever too. You'll probably feel like half the engagement's done by the time you get your block back. In some long drawn out fights, it probably won't feel as bad, maybe, but probably still will feel pretty awful to deal with. It's, I mean, the fact that you can still use other forward guard abilities is interesting, right? Because it's only saying the ones that you have to like hard cast on. Like, for example, it said full moon reverse scale for Mayo, which is basically old
Right.
Royal Rage. So it's only abilities like that are quote unquote locked out because you can't get into the position where you're blocking is the idea.
Right. So it's specifically, it's not you get locked out of all frontal guard skills. It's you get locked out of skills for which you need to be blocking to
Right.
use.
Yeah, which is interesting because if I remember correctly, if you use 4 guard abilities, even if your block is at 0, you won't be CC'd.
Correct. You have you have super armor from the front, as weird as
Yeah.
that sounds.
Yeah. So that's an interesting tidbit to keep note of. So it's not like you're completely vulnerable. You just take damage from the frontal position. If you get CC'd from the side or the back, obviously you'd still get CC'd normally. So is what it is there. But you could, for example, if you're afraid to get CC'd, you could throw out like me, for example. I could still throw out Red Moon to maybe protect myself from being CC'd, but I'd still take the brunt of the damage anyways.
Yeah.
So something to note there. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet because there's other elements to this patch that we'll go over
Right.
here shortly that will kind of go along with this. So
let's try to tackle this like one at a time.
Yeah,
So theoretically, if we were looking at this like isolated, right, just this change, does this change help non-grab classes deal with SA block classes in an effective way?
No, not really.
Uh,
If you think about the classes that actually are the problems with their blocks, they have extremely strong blocks, and you can't just like beat on their blocks typically. Now that may have changed with the nerfs to grabs as far as the cooldowns. If you know that they missed their grab and there's a window of opportunity, you might be able to pressure their forward guard and actually potentially break it. But
Right.
that's not a thing until we see this in action. We got to make sure that the damage from Global Labs actually is a true representation of what they plan on putting in live.
So if we take this out of isolation and put it in the context of everything else that's on Global Labs, including what else is in this patch that we haven't talked about yet, do you think that it's an effective change, or like still kind of no?
Honestly, it's kind of early to say, in my opinion. Like the clip Frosty's showing right now shows a Musa beating down a warrior's guard, and then when he gets the stagger from the guard break, he gets knocked down and then killed.
Mm-hmm.
But typically, when you get the stagger animation, you have the ability to like not quote unquote cancel out of it, but you have an opportunity to like move before you get CC'd and protect yourself. So yeah, it really depends. It really depends, honestly. Like it's too early to say.
Fair enough.
One of the major issues with it is the timer, I think it's a bug. I'm not sure what the intention is, but the timer keeps resetting back to 5 if you press your blocks, which is also
Really, I think that's a bug.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a bug. Yeah,
yeah. So
I couldn't
that
imagine
part's
that going into live.
pretty bad. I'm
What
trying
I
to
what
no. Well, I wanted to say like with the question with that Yashin is like, on one hand, I could see how this would be like, it would put pressure on someone to feel like they can't block forever and they'd have to do other stuff in between. But the thing is like, even in these examples, like the warrior is just blocking. Like this isn't in the context of an actual
He's never going
fight.
to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, like he can still use an SA skill, and maybe that is the solution because of like the grab cooldown being higher. There's going to be a window where the Musa can trade and put pressure. But like this Musa in this scenario, like I'm looking at the one where they're in the smaller arena, like he would probably have Gravedigger on him, the slow. He would also be like,
he wouldn't be able to put out that kind of pressure.
Yeah, not necessarily. So I mean, I'd have to see it in real world practice, but I don't know that it really solves it. But it does put a pressure on like, oh, I definitely can't just block forever.
Yeah.
The problem
you
is
you can't walk away and go get coffee, basically.
The problem though with this compared to like, I don't know, maybe like some of the stamina examples that we've had in the past is that this negatively affects large scale way too much.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I think it affects large scale far more than 1v1s.
I wanted to ask Frosty, so you've been on Global Labs and messed around with this, yes, I presume?
Yep.
If your block starts recovering and then you get hit with something that instantly takes it back down to 0, does it go on cooldown again?
Yes, every time it hits 0.
Yep. So that means technically, theoretically, you don't want to just
you'd want to like
take 5 seconds to recover. You probably need to reset the fight.
So in theory, the way they describe
I
it,
really don't like that.
is you'd want to run, you'd want to like disengage and move back. That's what they said in their dev note. Like the whole idea of it is to make players feel like you can't just sit there and be next to them. You got to like disengage, take a breath, and then come back in, kind of thing.
Yeah,
because your guard goes on cooldown, like the recharge cooldown, even if it breaks in a frontal guard ability too, right?
It actually does not. It only goes if you use S block or a guard when it's at 0. If you're in a frontal guard ability, you actually don't get the debuff. And again, that's another thing that I don't know if it's intentional or not. So for example, if a ninja is using stance shift, for whatever reason, when it gets hit to 0, it doesn't give them the debuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's another element, and I don't know if this is true. Frosty, Resler, maybe you can confirm, but I heard that Frosty, do the Corsairs block damage abilities, do they actually lower your block if you're hitting someone that's in SA?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting tidbit for when we get to the topic that connects to this one.
So,
it kind of goes in line with what Resler was talking about. The double block break thing.
Before we do that, I do want to point out that this is a change that affects all guards instead of just SA blocks or super armor blocks or complete immunity from CCs from behind blocks or whatever they call it in Korea.
Yeah. All resistances to everything except for grab.
Yeah,
including back attacks.
So
I think is how it's worded.
It affects more than just the blocks that a lot of people have a problem with. And on top of that, if I'm remembering correctly, I can't find exactly in the notes where it says this. Here it is. Warrior Valkyrie. It has been improved so that it can withstand more damage than before when using the defensive posture skill in the awakening state. So not only did they make this change affect like non-SA block classes, which is really annoying, they also buffed some of the SA blocks, which is just like,
yeah, it makes no sense. That's counterproductive. And then on top of that, which is another topic we'll get to, the passive changes, which will also make them stronger for some classes, like Valkyrie and Warrior. But, I'm not the biggest fan of this direction. Mostly because of it doesn't really deal with the problem that I originally was stating. It fucks everyone else too. That
Yeah, well, and we've talked about like guard recovery prevention in the context of Corsair before, right? And I think I think varying degrees of agreement, but I think we all kind of agree that it's not like a super cool thing.
I will
for the classes that are getting whaled with it in like large scale and stuff.
I will say I'm glad they didn't try to make it 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Could you imagine 15 seconds of your guard being down if just in a normal duel context? Some matchups would just be unwinnable at that point.
Frosty, I know you kind of believe that this is like necessary in the context of non-grab classes versus SA block classes. We've talked about this before in terms of like guard break and stuff, and your argument has always been that the guard break is a good tool, but without guard recovery prevention, it's kind of meaningless. So how do you feel about this change? Do you think this is good, bad? Like, well, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, does it feel like we're being hypocritical about how we feel about this versus what we've said in the past?
No, because I don't really love this implementation though, because one, like, okay, so let's say I'm fighting a Guardian. I always use the Corsair versus Guardian example. This is where I first experienced it, where like on paper, I'm like, when we first saw those leaked skills of Corsair, you guys remember that? And we were reading through them, like the BDO Codex ones, and we're like, dude, this is crazy. Like, instead of giving them a grab, they give them block break. Like, this is a really interesting, I was thinking this is an interesting idea that's going to help me against a warrior or a Guardian or whatever. And then I got on Corsair, and then I fought a Guardian. Now, there's some classes that deal with this more poorly than others. So, for example, like Suck Nova, because it's slower and you can't dodge stuff. But Guardian has a full kit. They have iframes, they have super armor rotations, they have damage trades, and they can slow
rotate things.
They can rotate things. And Corsair itself, Suck Corsair, doesn't really have a whole lot of like catches or quick catches. So when I'm fighting a Guardian, even if I break their block, like they're still just rotating super armor and going for grab attempts on me, and it didn't really make much of a difference in the 1v1 in that matchup. Whereas like if he couldn't stay in his block and there was some sort of stamina pressure on him, like maybe he would use something unprotected or do something out of his comfort zone, you know? Like, I don't know. It still doesn't really solve the problem.
Say the Mayo matchup versus Corsair.
Yeah, because it's not just the guard with super armor. It's a combination of the guard with super armor plus everything they have is protected. All of their CC attempts, their grab attempt, everything. So there's like no opening whatsoever, and the guard just reinforces that. So I don't know. No, to me, this doesn't really solve that. No, it just, I mean, maybe like a Sork or a really good Musa and a Meiwa will find windows where they're actually able to break the block, but any Musa, Meiwa, or Sork that's like fought enough good Guardians or Valkyries or Novas knows it's not easy to break that block to begin with.
It's not going to happen.
Plus, they're going to, like, if I'm on a Suck Nova, let's say I'm on a Suck Nova again. I just fought Alki. I don't know if you guys know Alki, but Alki is an incredibly geared Sork. And when I fight him on any other class, he is very difficult to fight. And recently, when I tagged a Suck Nova, it was so easy. I just destroyed him, and there was like nothing he could do. And anytime he started getting my block a little bit low, I just used one super armor ability, and it was back to 100%.
Yeah.
So it's like a combination of everything. So I don't really think that this solves that. But I don't know for sure. I'd have to like experience what it's like if a warrior misses a grab and I'm on like a Sork or a Musa or Meiwa. Like, how much pressure can I really put on them? Like, maybe it will be enough. I'd have to see how it feels in actual practice.
That's why I was saying that same thing earlier with like, if the damage that's currently in Global Labs comes to life as is without being, PvP reduced or whatever, which is likely to happen. I'm 80% that's probably going to happen. But if it doesn't and it comes as is, then maybe I could see block damage actually being a real possibility for some of these classes, especially like mine. Like I do some output on Global Labs, but I don't think it's gonna be that way. I highly doubt it. I don't think there's really ever been too many skills that have come from Global Labs that have really kept the high damage output that they received and brought over to live. But I don't know. It's I'm not the biggest fan of this implementation either. I kind of feel like I don't know. Maybe certain classes that don't have grabs should have had block lock type features, like 5-second block lock where it doesn't recover, rather than just doing damage to block gauge, like which we'll talk about here.
That's still more. No, it's so. I don't know. That's so much. I'm just wondering if, like, I'm kind of curious, Reslar, from your point of view, because we've had past discussions like years ago. I remember us having an argument about block break and when it breaks, like the stagger or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be better instead of this if your block hits 0 that you get stiffened, but it recovers immediately? Like maybe it just instantly stiffens you. So it's like gives the opponent, if they bring you to 0, a chance to catch you or CC you. Versus like a guard break prevention recovery or something like that. Like if it just CCs you when it breaks. Would that be better or worse or no different?
I think that would probably be better if a couple things. First of all, every class that can get stiffened by having their block broken needs to have access to an instant iframe, so that when their block is getting low, they can have the ability to like outplay, right?
It. Yeah.
Okay.
And if they use it for some other means, they purposely screwed themselves.
Right.
Strategically.
And some classes have this, some classes don't. But every single class would need to have that, I feel like. And then thing number 2, block lock cannot be a thing.
Right.
You cannot get locked into your guard and then have it broken and get CC'd. That can absolutely not happen in any context whatsoever. I think if both of those requirements were fulfilled, I think that would probably be fine, in all honesty.
What about that idea with large scale? I feel like that would be awful on large scale with getting stiffed right away.
It would be hard. It would be rough.
It would be, yeah.
I mean,
like like when people dive, your block literally goes to 0 instantly in some cases.
I still wonder, so why, we talked about this when Warrior Succession came out. Why can we not just increase the power of blocks dependent on how many characters are around you?
Yeah.
So if you have more allies or more enemies around you, it makes your block stronger. They have the capacity to do this. They have this already in the game with Succession Warriors block. They just need to apply this to the other SA block classes.
This is the same thing like Biceptimus talked about, where he wants this on Warrior for like as like a large scale buff, because right now the biggest problem is that every time you buff Warrior, everyone that has to fight it in 1v1 is like, dude, what the hell are you doing? But the reality is they're not insane in large scale, right? So it's like all these buffs that you see on Global Labs that upsets like all the classes that don't have a grab. It's like, yeah, you have to understand like a lot of these buffs are geared towards large scale, which they aren't particularly good at right now, even if you do hate fighting the class in 1v1. And one of his ideas was something along the lines of like, if I'm fighting, if I jump into a ball, give me a DP buff for the amount of people that are in a certain radius of me. So that way, if I'm in a 1v1, I'm the same. But if I'm in a 1v10, like I'm a little bit stronger, and there I'm not just gonna instantly get blown up before I can finish something.
Yeah, I mean that.
It's a solid idea, and that's a fairer idea.
Yeah, it's something that needs to be considered while we're like in the process of changing how blocks function. And generally speaking, although they did block Warrior and Valkyrie's both in Awakening, I think overall we seem to be going towards making blocks weaker, which is good for 1v1, but really bad for large scale. So something we need to, and again, like this has been, I hate to be a broken record because I've been saying this throughout all of this rework shit, but with every single change, PA really needs to take a look at how this affects other aspects of the game. And as long as that happens, then I think it'll be fine. Will it happen? I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I fucking hate this change. If I can bitch about it for a second. I really fucking hate this change. I really cannot stand that it is applied to all blocks. Zerkers rely quite heavily on their S blocks to keep them safe, especially in Awakening. I mean, in Succession quite a bit as well, but Your S block in Awakening is a very, very key thing that you need to use, especially in large scale. My block already gets exploded in large scale from like one wizard sitting on a fucking cliff. So the idea that that wizard's gonna throw one meteor at me, my block's gonna break, and now I just don't have guard for 5 seconds, which means I can't even get close to the enemy ball, or else I'm just gonna get CC'd by some random bullshit. That's really frustrating. And part of that, I know, like, oh, Rizlar's a gearlet, so that's why. Yes, I understand that part of it is because I'm a gearlet, but that's also a problem in and of itself. The fact that this really fucks over lower geared players is like a real problem. Because now you're gonna have one fucking class can go into a ball, right? Like one geared Corsair, right? We have to deal with Corsairs so much. You have one geared Corsair dive into a ball with people, maybe half of which are gearlets like me, eviscerate their blocks, and now that half of that ball doesn't have block for the engage. Like that's stupid. That's so dumb. Like I fucking hate this change. It's so bad. It's so. I said this in our group chat, but like, this is a change that needed to be really narrowly targeted, and instead it was just broadly applied, and it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And part of that is probably due to the mistranslation or miscommunication between like NA feedback and Perlibus. Like we've talked about already, but
I have a question. This one's a little bit more weird and obscure and probably harder to implement. But what if when your block hits 0, you get this debuff on your bar for 5 seconds to where for those 5 seconds, you don't have super armor when you block with Q block. That's the only thing you lose. You don't actually like lose the guard recovery. It's just for 5 seconds when you block, you don't have the super armor during your block.
I think that would be a good change for 1v1, as long as it is like fairly easy to break the blocks. Again, I'm bit concerned for large scale, but I think that would be better than what we have now with this change.
But you'd still be able to block. You just wouldn't get the super armor.
Right.
Like on your back and the sides. I mean, particularly on the back and the sides. Like, so let's say your block breaks, you dash to the side, you recover your block back up to 20, you block again. You're still in forward guard. You just, if someone hits you from behind or the side for those 5 seconds, you can be CC'd. 5 seconds is ages, but right now it's like, right now you get neither for 5 seconds. You don't get block or super armor because you can't use the block. You can't even use your block. Like, it just CCs you over and over when you try.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be better. Nyashi, what are your thoughts on that for like 1v1 non-grab class versus SA block?
I guess. I mean, seems fine. I don't really have.
Yeah, I don't know. I still don't know if it solves the issue. I mean, at the end of the day, there's part of me that's just like, dude, after 2 seconds, you should lose the resist if you're holding Q. They should have to move and do other stuff in between to just keep them active instead of turtling forever. Something along those lines. Or after 3 seconds or whatever. I don't know. It's just like, it's just weird.
That probably wouldn't be bad in all honesty if it was just whenever you Q block, you have SA for 3 seconds, right? And then you have to either
in the Q block, though. You gotta be clear about that. Yeah, because not like a lingering SA that works on all your skills.
Yeah. Like that would probably be fine in all honesty, because then in the context of large scale, you just have to use one like protected ability on a low cooldown and or just like reset the block by itself, right? So that wouldn't be bad. I mean, obviously blocks are still worthless in large scale, so that doesn't change that, but at least that doesn't fuck blocks in large scale more than they already are.
I have to address something real quick. So someone in chat, Juvios, keeps saying, why do you want to remove turtle classes and make everybody a rat? I play shield class because I like that style. I don't know which class you play, but warrior is a rat, except you also have SA block. So it's not about removing shield classes. No one's saying they want to remove, or like none of us are saying we want to remove shield classes. Like, it's just like a gross exaggeration. or misunderstanding. We're saying like you need a way to. There has to be some risk when you're fighting somebody. If you have zero risk, it's like absurd and frustrating for everyone to have to fight you. That's why no one's trying to remove the shield entirely from the game. They're trying to just address the issue of like, okay, this class versus all these classes that don't have grabs has a huge and distinct advantage. And there's nothing like, right now, there's just not a system set up in place that helps you deal with it. That's all the discussion is. Sorry, go on. Where are we at?
No, I mean, it's not about removing like turtle classes. It's about like turtle classes are too unfair of a fight for non-grab classes. I mean, that's just kind of how it is.
It's how Frosty said. Turtle classes can be rats in a way.
Yeah,
they have the ability to also be rats.
Awakened Warrior is pretty ratty.
Like, yeah, you look at Awakened Warrior and tell me that's a turtle class. Like, no. Like, no, I'm sorry, just no. The answer is no. It's not. I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard thing to talk about because I do understand where that person's coming from and that it may feel like we're arguing that their identity needs to be taken away from them, but the thing is like we kind of are, because that identity is a real problem for a lot of other classes, right?
Well, I don't want it taken away. I want to be clear. Like, it just needs to be slightly changed, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be taken away. It just needs to be like
in the context of like if someone was to believe that their class's identity was around the fact that they can sit in SA block and be protected, right? Like if you put yourself in that mindset, then I mean that's what we're arguing for. But I don't think that is that class's identity. I don't think Warrior's identity is that you can sit in SA block and be completely protected. I don't think that you look at PvP montages with Warriors, right? McCann's and Sphero, how often are they just sitting in their block?
Never.
Like, never. That's not that class's identity. Now for other classes, maybe you want to argue it's different. Like for like Suck Nova, like sure, I think that like the SA block has a lot more to do with that class's identity. But I still would say that that's like by proxy, because their main identity is through their like little minions that they got. So I don't know. It's a hard topic to talk about.
It is. It is. It's rough because everyone takes it to the extreme though. It's like, hey, by the way, I'm a Musa and I can't get through this Guardian. There's no point where I can CC him. I fought him. 2 minutes passed. Nothing was open. What should I do? And it's like, oh, you're just trying to remove guard classes.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Well, and people need to realize that like things like this, right? Things like SA blocks and grabs and like pretty much like almost everything in this game is like really complicated. And there's never like a oh yeah, if they would just change this, that would be such an easy fix. Like that just doesn't exist in this game. It doesn't exist in any game really. That's not how balance works. If that's how balance worked, every game ever would be balanced, but no game is ever balanced. So I don't know. Not even chess is balanced. Anyway, are we done with SA block changes?
Yeah. Basically, we don't like the way they implemented this change. I don't think most people do. I don't think it solves any of the problems necessarily.
I think it just makes some problems worse for like the non-heavy duty block classes. It's just going to be a worse time for them.
Someone in Frosty's chat is saying chess is balanced. It's not. White always goes first. It's unbalanced.
Chess has been busted.
Literally the most balanced game that has ever been created is still unbalanced. You can't create a perfectly balanced game. It's not possible.
Wait. What about Rochambeau? What about rock, paper, scissors? You don't think that's balanced?
I would say that there's still an element of unbalanced because there's actual like you can go into the mentality or the like different people have a what's the word I'm looking for, like proclivity, I think, to like picking certain things at certain times, and if you look into it, that can actually give you like an advantage. It's not just random chance at that point anymore. To like talk about like one of the most basic things, if I remember correctly, like men tend to always start with rock for instance. Like there are certain things like that where
I
you
won't
can
be,
identify
I won't be
patterns.
pigeonholed by you, Reslar.
What's
I won't be
I'm just
pigeonholed.
saying.
You think if
Like,
you and me rock paper scissors right now, I guarantee you I'm not going rock.
I mean, I'm not saying men always go rock. I'm saying that when you look at like there's actually been a lot of studies regarding this thing, regarding like what types of people pick different things in Rochambeau, and I think that was like one of the most baseline things is that men tend to pick rock, or was it scissors? I don't remember. Anyway, there's like certain things like that which can give you an advantage. So even something like that where you think it's like completely random, so it's totally fair, it's actually not.
No, it's
At
still
least not
totally
always.
fair. It may not be totally random, but it's still totally fair. Come on, man. Also, when you think of rock, paper, scissors, what are you picturing for that rock? I know you picture something. Is it a big-ass rock? A little rock?
What? Like the symbol you make with your hand? I'm confused.
Yeah, because like when I think of rock, paper, scissors, I'm thinking obviously college ruled, right? College ruled lined. You don't think about this stuff?
Okay, Frosty, I know weed is legal in California, but dude, you gotta chill, brother.
I don't smoke weed, but I was selling a phone recently and someone offered me cannabis instead of cash, and I was like, I'm good. Thank you though. Dude, Pooty Poot says that they think of Dwayne Johnson. See, that's what I'm saying. Something comes to mind.
The Rock Johnson, huh? All right, so
on from guard on to passives?
Yeah, am I still doing this, or are you taking over now?
Are you tired? Did you just log into Arc?
No, I'm doing my riffs, but I was just asking because originally you had said Reslar will start us off, which seemed to imply that I wouldn't have to go the whole time. But
have to see there are the implications.
He's been
in the
low
words.
key praying.
All right, here we go. The defensive.
Listen,
passive.
I'm just saying you're a lot more informed and knowledgeable on these things than I am. All right, I'm just here for my shitty Zerker opinions that nobody cares about.
All right, so they reworked the passives across the board. They removed basically the individual passive, the one passive that everyone had like leveled up, and added this new, I'm putting in quotes, universal and balanced passive to bring everyone's passive a little bit closer together to balanced in quotes. Some of them are very good. Some of them are not as good. And even within the ranks of individual classes, I think some people feel like theirs are good, and then other people that play the same class are like, that sucks. I mean, let me just go through this list. So Warrior and let's see, it was Warrior Valk both got all DP plus 20 and 300 HP. That's a pretty good passive. Sork got all evasion plus 10% and max stamina plus 150. Now, if you prefer evasion that's a cool passive. The stamina, I think anyone who got 150 stamina, that should feel bad.
Yeah, right.
Ranger got 300 stamina and all AP plus 6. Zerker got all DP plus 20 and critical hit chance plus 20%. I mean, you guys lost accuracy but gained crit chance and DR. What is the Zerker feeling on that one?
Yeah. The thing is like the accuracy allows us to really easily deal with like evasion builds, which is very nice.
Yep.
So I think even though they're taking away a bit of that, I think we'll still be able to deal with evasion builds like decently.
In 1v1. The problem is large scale, right? Like large scale, how do you deal with evasion builds?
Well, you grab them and hope your teammates show up, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm trying
you seismic them and hope that enough of those hits land, and if they don't, then you gotta wait 6 seconds. I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know. The defense thing is weird. I don't know how much of a difference like 20 defense makes. I feel like probably not much. The crit is interesting, but I feel like I would rather have accuracy, in all honesty. I don't know. That's how I feel. Maybe other Zerkers disagree.
Yeah, I mean, most Zerkers I saw are pretty upset about losing the accuracy.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have accuracy in all honesty.
Let me see if I could find. Yeah, so you guys lose Seizing Fear, essentially.
Right.
And but you do get to keep the Prime version, and you do keep Fort of the Giant. But yeah, and then Tamer ended up just gaining 150 stamina, I guess. I think that's the only difference. Musa Mewa lost their 10% melee evasion and instead gained 150 stamina. And then,
which is just fucking like, all right. So the melee evasion wasn't anything impressive at all, but 150 stamina is like an insult in my opinion.
Did you guys already have the AP? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, we gained that as well.
Okay, so you gained 12 AP. Valkyrie DP plus 20. We talked about that one. Ninja Kuno. This one's weird too because there are a lot of ninjas and Kunos that run evasion. So for them, this is great. The AP is the same as before, pretty much. Maybe a little bit different. I'm trying to think off the top of my head how much it was. I always forget that passive because it's like it's not something you think about. Let me see. So before it was killer training gave, let's see, one melee AP, 2, so 10. I think it was essentially 10 melee AP, and then at level 63 you got 2. So now you get 12, so it's basically the same, but you gain 2% special attack damage because everyone's getting 2% special attack damage. And then Ninja Kuno lost 2.5% accuracy but gained 10% all evasion. So for me personally, I don't use evasion. I have no intention to use evasion. I don't want to use evasion. So this passive change for me was just a nerf and nothing else. And then Wizard Witch got casting speed increase plus 10, all AP plus 12. Before, if I remember correctly, they were already getting 12% cast speed if they're level 63. Is that right? Anyone remember? Trying to like make sure I have these right because you get one number wrong and people
just take it to the next level.
Yeah, it just gets to the next level. So I believe
I honestly never pay attention to the 63 passives.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they get 10% for having it maxed, and then at level 63 they get an additional 2%. So I think they lost 2%, and then I guess they gained 12 AP in exchange. You could argue. I don't know. Some people might prefer the AP, some people prefer the cast speed. Dark Knight lost accuracy and gained critical hit damage. I believe they lost 7% accuracy, and the critical hit damage, the first thing I thought about when I saw this is Multi is going to be pissed. He hates critical hit damage because with special attack damage, I think he mathed it out. It's like basically like a 2% damage increase. So he lost 7% accuracy for like plus 2% damage or something on a target that has special attack damage or special attack evasion. So it's not good. Striker Mystic gained, let's see, they had 9 DR before. Now they have 20, and they gained critical hit chance plus 20%. Did Mountain Aura give anything else? I think it only gave DR, right? It just gave like every level is a different type of DR, like magic, range, and whatever. And when you maxed out, essentially it was like 9 total DR. So, yeah. There's an odd trend with Striker Mystic where every rework patch looks pretty cool for them.
Yeah.
Especially Striker. So there's that. And then Lon, God, what was Lon's accuracy before? I think Lon just gained attack speed. I don't remember if their accuracy changed. Did Lon have accuracy before? Okay, so they just gained accuracy and attack speed. Fantastic. Archer gained 5% accuracy, so I'm actually happy for them.
Woo!
That's actually huge. Archers lacking accuracy, plus last patch they got an accuracy buff on their E-buff too. They had movement speed and attack speed is what Lon had before. So now they have more attack speed and all accuracy. And then I don't actually remember if Archer had AP either. Just checking all my work here before we move on. No, they did have ranged AP. Was it every 2 levels? So maybe they had 10 ranged AP already. And then max level they gained what? 2. Max level they gained 2% critical hit rate. So they lost the critical hit rate but gained accuracy and I believe 2 AP, and then they gained 2% critical or 2% special attack damage. The other thing too is I think with Archer, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the crit rate not even really help them, or am I crazy?
Yeah. So if my memory serves correct, I haven't played Archer in a while, so I haven't really been in the community. But the general consensus is that crit rate doesn't really do much for him.
Okay.
So would preferably have
their new.
The main thing they want is just accuracy. Please God.
Right. Okay. They have an ability that gives crit. Okay. So
like, don't need AP, don't need crit. Like, just accuracy, hit rate. Like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. And then Guardian, I think Amritat said he was happy about it. Guardian, what did they have? They had critical hit damage. Is that it? Is it just oh yeah, it's just critical hit damage. So they changed from critical hit damage to critical hit damage. So they have 10% critical hit damage, but they gain 12 AP. I think they lost 2% critical hit damage. I think it was 12% at max level. And now it's 10%, and they have the special attack damage plus 2%, so it's basically even, and then they gain 12 AP. Hashashin is in shambles. Did they gain the evasion? I can't remember because they have 2 passives that you level up, and I'm trying to think if you go on to global apps. I can't remember if they lost both of those passives or not. They lost 2% evasion. Okay, so they lost 2% evasion and lost 10% accuracy. In exchange for AP, I guess. So that's rough. Hashes are pretty upset about that. Nova got the same thing that Warrior and Striker got. Warrior and Valk. I'm trying to, again, Nova's another one. I thought their passive was just DR. So it might be relatively even change. Checking our work here. All DP +1, and then max levels +2. Oh, it's DR and HP. Okay. What levels are the HP? Or is it just this one? Did they lose both of these passives? I actually don't know because not every class lost 2 of their passives. That's the thing that's kind of weird. Oh, Hash gained 5% evasion. Oh, is it because so you do keep the second passive? So they only lost the one, right? Yeah, I think some of these classes that have 2 passives actually are getting to keep their second one. And then Sage lost 5% accuracy. The cast speed, I believe, is the same. And then they already had 2% special attack evasion at level 63. And then Corsair gained some of it. I believe, what did they gain? 6% evasion? I think they had 4% before from their passive. And I don't know if Corsair...
Sage?
No, Corsair.
Oh, Corsair. Sorry. I missed where you went to Corsair. I was like, wait. Sage has an evasion passive?
Yeah, I thought he was still on Sage too, actually.
Yeah, I was so confused.
I didn't skip Nova. I just was literally looking at their tree.
No. I think
no, not you. Someone's saying I skipped Nova, but I definitely didn't skip Nova. Yeah, I think there's this. They just had like the melee evasion passive, and then they have the all AP passive. But I'm not sure if that got removed or not. I didn't open my Corsair. So anyway, the passives are weird. Again, it's like some classes are happy, some are not happy. Last week, when we talked about their dev note, they made a mention of like, hey, we're toying with the idea of like different things for different classes depending on what you want to do. And it's like, I kind of wish, because it seemed they basically gave us 2 stats, right, for every single class. I wish one of them was set in stone, and then the other one was something we could pick between. Obviously, some of these would be way too strong on some classes. Like, you can't just give everyone the option to get 10% attack or cast speed, because that would be insane. But, oh yeah, and Shy is not even on this list, by the way.
Oh, no.
God.
Yeah, Shies are not on the
dude.
list, dude.
Dude, it's gotta be rough being a Shy player with all this stuff, man.
Seeing all these cool changes.
Goes back to my argument. They keep forgetting you guys. I don't know why Shy wouldn't get a passive, but whatever.
They don't deserve one.
I don't know. Just as an example, I'm just going to give a really basic example. Since Kuno and Ninja already were getting some AP with their passive before, it would be cool if my options were, like, we get 12 AP, just leave that. That's the one mandatory one. And then the second one, the all evasion rate, let me choose between, do I want 10% all evasion, 20 DP, or 300 HP, or whatever the equivalent is. Like, let me choose between one of those. That would be awesome. Or like if you let me choose both of them. But obviously, like, I can't have cast speed. Like, make it like some reasonable options. Like, if I want all attack power plus 12 or 10% critical hit damage or 5% accuracy, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just choices that where the stats are subtle enough it's not going to be game breaking would be way, way, way better than, like, some of these are not even close. How do you equate 10% critical hit damage with like a 10% cast speed, or 150 stamina versus 300 HP? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird. 150 stamina is sad.
It's depressing. Like, reading that.
Yeah,
150 stamina. It's like,
I wish
I got a chase and a half.
Yeah, dude.
I wish they would have come up with like more interesting passes. Like, they would have taken the opportunity to be like, hey, maybe we could do some cool stuff instead of just giving people like 20 DR. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, some actual like cool new things that like people could get excited about, instead of like, oh, I got like some accuracy. Cool, I guess. Like, sure, that's nice, but like, I don't know. Wouldn't it have been so much cooler if they took the time to like actually give us really interesting and unique passes?
Yeah. No, like you know, it would have been a cool Musa Mewa one. Stamina
Reroll
recovery
coupons.
rate. Stamina recovery rate plus 5% or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
5-10%,
like-
something like that.
like-
yeah.
Exactly. Like, really interesting dynamic passives that are like very class specific.
And impactful. Like,
Yeah.
150 stamina, I'm sorry, it's just not going to mean anything. It's not.
Like, I don't know. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be broken.
It-
Can
it
just
would
be
be-
like good and fun. Right?
It would be different if the stamina mechanic was actually handled differently with how the recovery is. So, for example, right now it's basically like it recovers based on 0 to 100%. It doesn't care how much stamina you actually have.
Right.
It'd be interesting if you focused on stamina, it would, increase its, ability to regenerate faster or something like that. Like, add in some extra aspects of it. Like, like if you had, I don't know, I'm kind of basing off of D2 because I've been playing that lately, but, where you have mana regeneration rate increase and stuff like that. It would just be interesting if they had a mechanic like that.
Like, there's so many stats in this game that you could do like really interesting things with like passives, right? I don't know. I just feel like oh, here you get 20 DR and some accuracy. Like, I don't know. Like, why, like, I don't want to say why are we revamping passives if we're not doing anything like new with it, because at the end of the day, it is like balance changes that some classes desperately need, like Archer, right? Getting that accuracy is something that is really, really good for Archer. But like, I don't know, I feel like passives are so underused and utilized by the dev team in terms of like their ability to impact gameplay. Like, the devs are just like, oh, we'll just give them some stats that for the most part are like pretty meaningless and don't really like do all that much, instead of like, hey, let's try and make these passives like fun and exciting for like players to like deal with and experience, and maybe give them like a choice so that it's not just a passive, like you actually pick something based on your playstyle, right? I don't know.
Yeah. The hash one's really interesting too, because when hash first came out and we were reading through the skills and everyone's like, dude, this is crazy. They start off with 10% accuracy and they have an accuracy buff on one of their skills and they have an evasion debuff on one of their skills. Like, their accuracy is going to be insane. And then you like go through and look at all the skills and it's like, oh, they have 0% accuracy on everything. Not a single ability in the hash kit has accuracy. So for them, like on Awakening in particular, where you're not always going to have the accuracy buff up, it's actually not up 100% of the time. And in large scale, you basically never have the evasion debuff. So it's like they actually just have 0%. It's just their gear for a lot of their engagements and fights. Is just going to be whatever your gear is and then 0 on all your skills, which is it was pretty wild to think about. So I don't know. Some of these are very weird and not well thought out. And I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to go.
I will say this though about it. Like, it kind of suggests to me that maybe they are hearing our complaints about stamina, and that was kind of like their idea with giving us stamina. But it's like they did not think about like, is this even going to do anything?
See, but but even in that context, like it would have been so much more like interesting to see them do something like increase stamina recovery rate.
Yeah, I agree
Instead
with
of like
you 100%.
Like stamina, like even if they were to give you a meaningful amount of stamina, like I feel like you could have done more. That would be more fun and interesting than just here's 500 stamina. Like that's 100% so boring and bland. I don't like. I don't know. I don't
like
know.
If they gave, I don't want to
try. I don't want to try and say that they shouldn't be making meaningful changes to passives, but like, because sometimes all a class needs is accuracy. All a class needs is stamina. But like, you could be getting really creative with these passives, but we're just not, and it sucks.
I think they just want to stay away. Like, I mean, like if I was thinking from a developer's point of view, you wouldn't really want passives to be like this huge impactful thing that really like kind of defines the way a class plays per se. And you could argue say passives. I would. I
would love
really
to see passives be like they are in League, where it's like a huge part of the character's kit. I would love that. I hate that passives are so like nothing and bland and don't really affect gameplay all that much.
Yeah, I mean the League's a good example.
I'm kind of curious how much stamina would they need to give where you're like that stamina passive is actually cracked if it was just like a hard stamina amount.
Cracked?
Yeah,
I don't think I could ever really say it would be cracked, but like I was figuring like if they were going to do something like that, maybe 500 stamina would be at least worthwhile.
You don't think that like, 500 stamina would be pretty cracked? It's a lot of stamina. Or
it is a lot of stamina, but when you think about the context of like and how Rezlar's point is, it's 500 stamina. It's okay. You got 5 additional chases. Okay, now what? I chased around 5 additional. Like I gave me like 2 seconds of a.
Stop playing where you only hold R and B and nothing.
I can't help it. It's the only button I have left. I don't know. But no, it's like once you blow your load, so to speak, you still are left with the same fundamental problem. And that's where I like Rezlar's idea better, where it would be like a passive that would regenerate stamina more.
Whoa. That was Frosty's idea.
Rezlar's idea?
Or wait, I'm sorry.
Let's calm down.
Frosty's idea.
All I said was I would like to see more interesting passives than just
That's probably why I forgot it was Frosty's original idea. So,
but I agree with that's a really that would be a really interesting way to effectively get the same results as giving a class stamina, but would be much more interesting than just here's a bunch of fucking stamina, have fun.
I will agree it would actually solve more problems than what they're trying to do now, and it would help out both kits. It would help out both kits, which Succession desperately needs, at least in terms of my class. And that would be, they could also adapt that same kind of concept and idea to other classes, which I'm sure have other varying types of issues similar and requiring a more complex solution, essentially, rather than just like a simple
Frosty,
flat
I know you've talked about this before, like choices. That's another big thing.
Yeah, just one choice.
So like, if you could give like Mooses and Mewas, like, okay, here you can have increased stamina regeneration, which is like fun and pretty necessary, right? Or like this other thing that could like change theoretically, if you built around it, could change your playstyle completely. What would that be? I have no idea. But giving players like the choice to take one or the other would be super interesting.
Maybe here. All right, so this kind of goes on their whole like block breaking thing without actually like if they didn't incorporate that, this would probably be a good idea. Maybe a passive that says the ability to deal more damage to blocks in general. Like your attacks deal more damage to blocks in general.
See, that would be interesting. So you could
then you have a choice.
Okay, here, player, you get the choice now. Do you want increased stamina regeneration so you can like use your skills and chase like a lot more in the context of a fight, or would you rather deal, let's say, like 10% more damage to blocks with all of your skills?
Yeah. So in the context of a 1v1, that might be maybe more ideal, or maybe in large scale that might be considered more ideal. Like, at least there's some variety there that goes along with the context of what you guys are referring to as having options. And that would be an interesting idea. And it opens up some possibilities for certain playstyles, like you said. So
yeah. Frosty, how do you feel about the passive changes? Because I know you're pretty passionate about choices.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I want choices. I want, like,
that's it.
I was thinking like the thing is that I actually really like the Mystic Striker passive. I mean, I don't care as much about the crit chance, like that's class to class, but the thing is like even if you're evasion, the extra DR helps a lot no matter what build you are. And that's why I hate that they force evasion on us without letting us choose either evasion or DR.
Yeah.
Like
it affects your block and frontal guards and everything.
So for example, like the evasion is not like, it actually does nothing for me. So this change, when it comes out, I gave up 2.5% accuracy in exchange for zip. Nothing. Doesn't help me in anything at all, no matter what, because I didn't build evasion. So it's like, eh. And then like Moose's and Maywas, while I was like arguing with about him, like how important the melee evasion is. But for the ones that did like it, like, I don't know, you gave up 10% melee evasion for 150 stamina. And it's, as someone else in chat's pointing out, like, what does the stamina do for you in PvE? It doesn't even help you in PvE.
Nothing. It does absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it does nothing for PvE.
That's why I thought it was like insulting to even see that as our new passive. It was like, what is this shit? Like, you didn't even really, like, you didn't even look at the problem.
Yeah.
Someone in your chat, Frosty, says, and give blocks passive to nullify those passives. Like that, like I actually would be okay with that though. Like if you wanted to, like, so let's say Suck Nova, right? Like Suck Nova's choice could be like increased block gauge, right? So instead of like 100 block gauge, it goes up to like 150, right? So that you can be like more tanky. And then the other one is like fucking cast speed or something. Right? Like this would dynamically like shift the way that this class plays theoretically, and it would give players like a choice. That would be far more interesting than giving Nova like whatever the fucking they got, like fucking like AP or whatever bullshit they got. I don't know.
I love your enthusiasm. Let's just knock it down from 150.
They got HP and all DP.
HP and all DP, like so boring. I don't know.
I like that one. I would love that on my Kuno. I'm gonna be honest. Or my hash.
The problem is as boring as that is. Out of all the passes, that's so impactful.
It's one of the
I
good
understand,
ones.
and again, that's why I'm not saying that these passive changes are bad or that like they're not needed. For some classes, they're very needed, and for some classes, they're very good. But they're boring. Like, that's my thing. They could be so much cooler, but they're boring, and that sucks. And it's probably going to stay boring, because they don't want to put that much effort into it. Which is, like, fine, I guess, whatever. But, like, there's so much potential, but whatever. Who cares?
I think there's going to be... I think there's a lot of backlash for this. I think some of these are going to change. I think there's too many classes...
I don't see how they don't.
There's too many classes that got, like whatever... What happened to Hash is pretty crazy. Like, there's a lot of classes like that. Or like Zerker, well, I get in 1v1, you guys can probably hobble together a good anti-evasion combo. But in large scale, you're not... Basically, if there's an evasion target and you're not in a 1v1 with them, you should just disengage. Because, like, you're not going to kill them. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. I kind of hope that it changes, but you never know. The resist changes got implemented. So yeah, you can stack resist up to 80% now, but you can start ignoring resist from 80% all the way down to 0.
Wait, they were implemented into live?
No, it's on Global Labs. Like last week they talked about it, and then now it's actually on Global Labs.
Oh yeah.
Didn't skip Nova. Oh my god. All right, so I skipped Shy. Let's see. Let's skip to no. Well, do you want to stay on class stuff? Let's just talk about the changes to Chase and the guard break additions to the 4 classes that got it. So Chase, so they gave guard break ability to Musa and Meiwa, as well as Suck Lawn and Suck DK. I believe those are the only 4 classes. They got it on, each got it, I think Suck Lawn and DK got it on only one ability. DK got it on Prime Airstrike. Suck Lawn got it on Prime Blade Dance. And Musa Meiwa got it on a couple of skills in Succession and Awakening. And then Musa Meiwa also got their Chase changed. So let's focus first on the block break stuff. All it is well, actually the lawn one, oh god, I have to go on and look. I think the lawn one is 20%, maybe, but the DK one is 20%. What are the Meiwa ones?
10.
They're all 10, but you have three, right?
2. There's one that's Red Moon for Awakening and Red Moon for Succession.
Okay.
I don't think there's another one besides the Awakening Petal Bloom.
Got it. Okay.
Unless I misread the notes.
Let's see. Prime Carver as well.
Oh, Prime Carver got it as well? I guess I misread the notes.
Prime Red Moon, Prime Carver, and then Petal Bloom. And
the Carver one's actually pretty good since they added 4 guard to it.
Right, and then Musa got it on Prime Rising Storm, Prime Gale, and then Crust Crusher. And it says in the patch notes flow foul play, but it's actually on Below the Belt on Global Labs. So I'm not too sure if that was a mistake, which one's a mistake, but yeah.
So instead of foul play, it's which one? Below the Belt?
Yeah, it's Below the Belt and Crust Crusher, I believe.
That's actually better for them, if I am thinking correctly.
Yeah.
It should be considered better for them.
So all right, so the guard gauge thing just in general, like we talked about it with Corsair and stuff. I don't know, like a lot of non-grab classes wanted this added to their kit. Does this help you guys, you feel like? Is there like some situations where you're like, this is actually going to make a difference?
So this kind of ties into that whole block break feature that they added that we talked about previously. I see where they're trying to go with it. We have talked in the past that we thought it might be interesting that they add block break to, say, like Musa and Meiwa, or other classes that were not grab based classes as a mechanic. So I'm happy to see that they're doing that and like experimenting with it. But I think this kind of goes to like your point that you mentioned before, Frosty, where you said the guard break itself isn't really as powerful by itself. It's the block lock that's more powerful, like on Corsair when that feature was first introduced. It's like breaking the guard's fine and all. That's nice, but the real powerful aspect is that they're fucking locked out for 15 seconds. But with the addition of the block break feature in conjunction with this, it makes it interesting. The problem is, like, it's weird on how it works. So I don't think it works exactly the same for other classes, but it might be the exact same as, at least for the first part. The first part is it's only on the very first hit of the skill.
Okay.
So Red Moon has an elongated animation,
right.
Unless you choose the new Ascension of Heaven, which shortens it dramatically.
Could you imagine every hit of Red Moon taking 10%?
I know it would be ridiculous. I'm just saying this because sometimes when we use Red Moon defensively, sometimes we might use it to just preemptively, and then we end up blocking with like maybe the second hit of it, kind of thing.
Right.
So I'm saying, like, in some cases it might not even do anything in Connect. But in other times, we'll use it right up in someone's face to guard block an ability like Gravedigger, as an example, to prevent us from getting slowed. So in some cases, it could work. Some it won't. The other aspect that Meiwa and I think Musa got hit with as well was it was limited to only one target. which is weird. The other classes didn't get that. So from a large scale point of view, it's fucking useless, in my opinion. So it's, as it currently stands, pretty much just a 1v1 thing. And 10% on Red Moon is okay. The 10% on Petal Bloom is kind of risky, even with its sped up charge and whatnot. I don't know if it's something we'd really use in someone's face too often. We'd have to do it during an ability and whatnot, but like using it outright on a warrior, for example, that's just asking to get grabbed, in my opinion. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to see it in practice. I'm kind of not really all that impressed with it because it is very low numbers. Red Moon has a 7-second cooldown. Petal Bloom has, I think, 12 or 14-second cooldown. I can't remember off the top of my head. So it's not like we can just constantly pressure with them. So we'd have to definitely rely on other abilities, which is fine. But it might not be quite enough. This all depends on if the damage from Global Labs is actually what's going to happen in live. So that's, I kind of said that earlier. So that's it. All this kind of like jumbled up together depends on what happens with the damage, I guess. So yeah.
And then separately, Chase is now no longer immune to slows.
Oh yeah, this is why I ripped my house apart.
This is why you ripped your house apart.
All the bladers got what they wanted. They reverted the change. So good job, everybody. We did it.
Yeah.
So so Chase is now affected by movement speed based things again. That means debuffs and buffs. I kind of, in a weird way, I kind of had a feeling that this might happen because last week they did the E buff changes, right? And in the E buff changes for like Mewa, they added 20% movement speed to it. I'm like, that's weird. It doesn't do anything for us. So why would they add that? And I had a weird feeling that they actually might be screwing with Chase in some way. I wasn't thinking it was going to be like in a bad way per se, because I was thinking maybe the immunity might stick, but apparently not. And now Chases can be affected by the movement speed on E-buff, which is great, but you have the downside of being affected by slows again, which is awful. So not happy.
I had a long discussion with Nakani about this and heard his thoughts and Smash and a little bit what you were saying, and so here's kind of like my thinking on it. They need to do one of two things. Well, first of all of their it's really confusing because on Global Labs, remember for the last like 4 weeks, forward awaken chase has been faster than pre-awaken chase and suck chase, right?
It's weird.
But right now on live, if you look at this video,
it's kind of good now. Yeah,
on Global Labs, I guess they buffed Global Lab suck chase a little bit to move you as far as the awaken chase, but they didn't mention it in the notes, which is really
they didn't
weird.
Mention it. It feels a lot better though.
Yeah, but here's the problem. So they nerfed the distance a little bit from what it was when they first came out with the buffs, right?
Yeah.
Which is weird because they cited that, well, now you guys have block break and it makes it's like too much to have like ignore slows and you move that fast and you have block break. But I feel like you guys need to have one of two options. Either keep this new version that's on Global Labs and make it immune to slows, or what like Nakani prefers when I was talking to him, make it the initial hyper fast version that goes further, but you're affected by move speed slows still. So I'm curious, like, if you could have one of those two options, which one would you rather have? Like the current version that's on Global Labs, but you're not affected by slows, or the faster version that moved you faster and further, but you are affected by slows?
All right, so in the context of that, can we go under the assumption that they would fix pre-awakening chase?
So pre-awaken chase on Global Labs right now is the exact same as awakening chase going forward, just not back. It actually is already technically fixed in that it moves the same.
Correct, but the old chase immunity did not.
I see what you're saying. Yes, so the faster chase would mean your pre-awaken chase is also faster. Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I kind of want to lean towards the immunity is better.
You think the immunity is better, but have it slight. So it still would be faster than live server no matter what, but just not as much faster. But you want to not be affected by the slows.
Yeah, I think that means more for us. Like in terms of large scale potential and 1v1 potential, that's a lot of what our problems are when it comes to like fighting certain classes. Being slowed down, not having the kind of like distance or gap closing potential, you know?
Yeah.
That's all problematic. And then also
here's my other question, kind of a follow-up question, because if they're saying that the block break is kind of what makes it too strong to have the good chase.
Just funny because that block break isn't even really that impressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, I feel like most mooses would happily give up the block break. That probably isn't going to help to have a better chase.
Yeah, I would totally give up the block break that they currently have in for the unaffected chase.
Yeah.
I think that would just be, it would mean so much more. It'd be so much better than what we're looking at now. Because 10% on, like I said, Petal Bloom's risky to use in someone's face anyways, and it doesn't affect large scale really at all. It's only one target, so it's like it's garbage. Red Moon is kind of okay, but like it's only on the first hit, so there's times where it's not going to even connect. I'm not going to even truly feel the pressure of my guard breaking potential.
How about this, Nyashi? How about this? There's a button in front of you, okay? This button does
the
two
uninstall
things.
Button?
This button does two things. Thing number one, it does every single skill that you have does 10% block break damage. Every single ability.
Oh my god.
That's too much.
But they remove chase entirely. You have to RP walk all over this.
You know what? Oh, you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I actually was in Global Labs after the patch. So yesterday I was in Global Labs. I noticed that they fixed the RP animation with the arrows. I now pull an arrow out the left top side instead of like going to like the bottom right.
My god, they solved bladers.
They solved it, and they didn't even put it in the notes. I'm actually so happy right now.
Dude, hell yeah.
You know, I'm not as mad anymore because I'm pulling arrows out of the quiver.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. That's cool.
That is exciting.
Actual arrows now.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll give
Wait,
you better.
Arrows don't just magically appear like archers?
No, they don't. And I pull specifically 2 every time. Every time.
Oh, maybe they'll buff it even more and give you guys better bow costumes.
Oh, there you go. I hope they do. I hope they do.
But I want you guys to randomly have an outfit where a great bow is on your back. The archer great.
It's just the giant fucking bow.
Yeah.
And our arrows are just like this giant thing that I would poke into the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I don't know. The block break thing is just garbage in its current form. I would rather have the chase immunity. I like how smooth this chase is in comparison to the previous iteration, especially for pre-weekend's sake. But I would like a combination, I guess.
Nakani was making the argument to me, because I also was saying the same thing. I was like, it seems like it'd be more impactful to not be affected by slows just because of how many are out there. But he was saying that the forward chase felt so fast. Now, this might be a difference in Moose and Mewa, because for whatever reason, and this is, I don't know why you guys aren't raging about this more. Why Moose's is just faster in general, like their forward chase. Like when there's
always been a difference between Moose and Mewa.
So that disparity might be the reasoning why he felt this way compared to how you feel. But he was saying when it was at max speed, like even when you were slowed, it didn't feel that bad because it was so fast. So the slowing brought it down to like, oh, this isn't so bad. Whereas like on live server, it feels like you're not moving at all.
What speed was being slowed at? Like a typical 20,
he
30?
Said
or like 50,
his example
70?
was paralyzed from which. So I don't know. That's the 50% one.
I would have to see it. So part of the problem with chase when you're like in a 1v1 or even in a large scale scenario was the distance you traveled, as well as, you know, being slowed to extreme amounts, right? The distance travel part is quote unquote being solved here, which I understand why they feel that way. But I I still think the slows are too much more impactful. They're everywhere, like you said. They're fucking everywhere. They're in every 1v1. They're in every large scale scenario. You cannot avoid them. They are there. You're going to be hit with them. And I just feel like for the style of play that you need, in especially in large scale, where you have to dive in and dive out, it just means more to have the immunity to slows. Yeah. I don't see the guard break doing anything for us, and I think it's just clunky and it's weird how they have it initially implemented. It depends on what they do with it. If they try to expand on it further and make it better, we got to revisit, right?
Right.
But as it currently stands, it's just junk. It doesn't. I'd rather have the immunity.
Yeah.
Or make it a passive. I can choose between a slow immunity on chase or
a faster chase,
or I get the guard breaking
or the guard break. All right, so let's move on. So yeah, all right, PA, you hearing that? The slows are still a problem. Fix it.
See what Azul said. Azul show slows on chase. What was made them they re-rolled from Mayweather Zerker. So
that was a hard sentence, Azul.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it was. I was fumbling all over that.
I don't know why Azul
I gotta double
used
check that.
Such complex words.
Frosty's high and Nyashi's drunk, dude. This is a hell of a podcast.
We should probably do that podcast. That would be fun.
I'd be down. We should have a drinking show. All right, so let's.
Dude, we should have a show where we just get fucked up. That'd be fun as hell.
The problem is that we usually start at 9 a.m.
Yeah, we start really early. Yeah.
Well, no, it's 9 a.m. for you guys. It's like midday drinking for me, so it's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I like how Nyashi thinks I'm also on the West Coast.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're an hour behind me.
Yeah, I'm like right next to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Mooses and Mewas band together and try to get your slows to not affect. Just band together, be on the same page. I know you want to be inherently negative and put up 50 posts that say everything they do sucks, but instead of all that waste of breath and time, just say, hey, we really, really liked being immune to slows for that 1 week. That was an awesome change, made the class way more fun, less frustrating. Please revert it back.
After what you told me, where you think that basically we lost it because of all the complaints about how we wanted to be affected by movement speed as far as buffs, because obviously that's what they meant. They only wanted to be buffed. They didn't want to be debuffed, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking about making a few posts and trying to get people to actually like band together and focus on one agenda.
But this is the thing, but you have like Plat Zero in chat. Like, look what he's saying. Like, that's the feedback that they actually get instead of like an actual like post, like a meaningful and helpful post with information.
Exactly.
Yeah, Plat, wait until they give us an actual real reboot. I mean, this is a reboot, dude. If you actually go and test, a lot of the stuff is actually really good. There's just some unfortunate items that need to be addressed. I mean,
nah, dude.
And Chase not being affected by slows is one of them. Make them not affected.
Or the
by
other
slows.
comment right above there is just delete Maywa already and give us a free reroll. That kind of it's not gonna happen. So stop saying that fucking horse shit.
That might be more of a meme, but like it's like no, dude.
I know, but you see that all the time.
My favorite Blader content creator told me that the reworks are bad and useless, and that I should be angry. So I am. Like.
Look, here's what I'll say. Let's say the current version of Maywa that's on labs, and I want to say bugs notwithstanding, because every class right now in the reworks has bugs that they have to get to probably more near the end of the reworks. But let's say it came to live server the way it is, and they made Chase not affected by slows. I don't want to know the kind of shit that Basque is going to be doing in large scale with that kit.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
That's like I was talking to Lewis, which is EU Mela content creator, and I was discussing the rework changes with them yesterday and showing some of the adjustments that they made. And like if they left the chase slow immunity in and they just changed, like they left it as was or as is right now or whatever, but made the slow immunity still there, and they just made Sleet Step and Iframe, fucking pack it up and ship it.
It'd be cracked. You guys would be hyped.
Yeah, it would be fucking disgusting. Like it would be so much fun. I would have a blast playing it.
He would actually.
The only thing is succession. The succession needs to be still adjusted, but I think Awakening is fucking dumb.
Nayashe would finally take a break from New World, right, Nayashe?
Yeah. I'd just like to point out, Frosty, congrats on finally making it. Your chat has officially divulged into just everyone spamming the same meme, which I think means you've made it on Twitch. So congrats. That's Pog,
It's a good meme. I want Sork iframes, Nova's move speed, Ranger's damage with Wizard AoE, Striker's tankiness, and Sage accuracy. These reworks suck. Hey, in fairness though, Raven, Striker got that.
True.
All right.
Also, Mina is reminding me that I think we did do something similar to Drunk Show, but it wasn't on a show. I think we were reacting to one of the balls. We were watching it and getting drunk together.
Dude, I got trashed that. Maybe we should do that again.
Dude, this year's gonna be hilarious because we're gonna be like waiting to see how they try to fumble through it.
Actually, I'm not even kidding right now. We need to make a drinking game out of it. We need to make a drinking game out of it.
Can we do a bingo where they try to announce same content, or what kind of like new class would be one of the things?
Yeah, it'll be a bingo board of re-announcements.
We'll do a bingo board of re-announcements, dates moved, and new classes being introduced.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll talk about it after, but we definitely have to plan something for the 11th. It should be fun.
Also, speaking of planning things, I know that we're recording, so I won't keep you guys too long with it. Just want to put the thought in your head. We are rapidly approaching our 3-year anniversary, boys.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Our 3-year anniversary is December 6th, I think.
That's weird. It's going to be my 1-year anniversary with me and my wife on December 4th. It's almost like we planned it.
Isn't it weird that we knew Nayashe for 2 years before he got married and none of us got an invite to the wedding?
Yeah, I know, right? Crazy, dude.
No, we actually did. Nayashe wasn't on the show right in the beginning. Well, we did know you, but we weren't friends quite yet.
Dude, those fucking getting those plates and everything, that shit's expensive, dude.
Yeah. You were mostly a nuisance at Mancham's, Arsha.
True.
Originally.
I was just getting bullied by Frosty in his
vacuum perfect blow grab.
Or no, it was your lawn. Was it your lawn?
No, it was my mystic.
No, it was your mystic.
My mystic for a while, dude.
Yeah. We better start thinking about what we're gonna do, because I hate to break it to you guys, but we had a fucking killer anniversary show last year, and we're gonna be expected to top that.
Shit, I didn't even think about that. We have to fucking try to come up with something for that.
We got to do something better than having. How many guests did we have last year?
We had like fucking 15 people on or some shit. Oh my god.
We have to do something better than a 7-hour 15 guest episode of the podcast.
You know what's interesting though? Because of the rework thing, we have plenty of potential candidates to talk to. So
dude, I hope. I don't know what I hope. I don't know. Yeah. We got to plan something. We'll figure something out. Let's move on through the rest of this because the tournament thing's gonna start soon. I got to start watching it. Some of these aren't as crazy. Some of these are not. So just quickly, they buffed Olun Valley.
Rapid fire.
They buffed Olun Valley, so it's gonna drop. I think someone mapped it out with the different changes. I think Gutter did it for me, but essentially they're buffing the drop rate of Kaffir stones at Olun Valley by about 50%. I guess it depends on what you're killing, more or less, but somewhere around 50%. He was saying it's not that crazy of an idea to think that you could get 100 plus Kaffirs in an hour there now, which is actually a really big buff to Olun Valley.
That's huge.
Separately, a buff to Olun Valley is Ibador scrolls. They're going to allow you to do, those are the Odalita scrolls. They're going to allow you to do the party member combination thing that you can do with relics with those as well, which will be fucking awesome.
All you fools who threw away your fangs. I've been holding on to them this whole time. You fools.
Yeah,
I got harassed by so many of my guildmates saying, "Oh, Reslar, why are you holding on to those? Just throw them away. They'll never be good. You fools!"
Look at here. My transport has a bunch of the fangs. I have. Let's see. Do I have any in Calpheon? No, Calpheon doesn't have any. Do I have any in Old Wisdom Tree? I have a bunch. Do I have any in Grana? I don't have any in Grana. I think I stuffed a bunch of them at Ataraxia's, filled with them. I think I have some. Do I have some in Duvenkroon too? I might. I have some in Duvenkroon. They're all over the place. It's a problem.
Yeah, I have them in storage all over the world. In transport, I have them on characters. They're all over the place.
Yeah, I do still have them on a bunch of characters too. It's annoying. Like I want to be able to make them and just hold on to them so badly.
Yeah, I really wish there wasn't a timer so that I could just turn them into the scrolls and then.
Yeah, or make them stackable and let me exchange 5 for this scroll at an NPC. How about that?
Yeah, that would also be fun. Anything other than what they have right now, please, God.
Basically. So that's a cool change. Also, will help a little bit with the Caphras market that has now been dry for a long ass time.
I don't want to launch this into a whole another discussion about balance or anything, but why are they not sellable on the market?
I don't know. I mean, if they're good to run it, yeah, I don't really know.
Like, why is every other scroll sellable but not Odraxia? It's just weird to me.
Yeah.
Is you said the Caphras market's pretty much shot right now?
Well, I mean, they've been sold out for a while. Like, so you have to put orders up and wait for a long time. I'm not saying it'll solve it entirely, but getting more people over to Olun Valley instead of in Elvia, and also getting more people to run these scrolls to self-supply their own Caphras or make them just to sell, I think will definitely help a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not nothing. Let's see what else. Okay, guild alliance changes for the Node War stuff. Alliances.
Oh boy.
So the maximum number of people who can join an alliance guild has been increased from 100 to 150. Now, this affects a lot of the guilds that are going to be in the T1 scene and a lot of the smaller guilds. As far as like high-end guilds, like the top 10 to 12, this literally impacts one singular guild on North America. I don't know how the alliances are elsewhere, but maybe this will encourage more alliances. And I know, Reslar, you and I have been saying forever with the caps, although they do have 50-man caps now, at least on some of the regions, 40 and 50.
Yeah, they're so close. They're so aggravatingly close.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be the guy that's like we can fix everything, but like if you just listened to us and tried it, I feel like it would solve a lot of things.
Well, here's the thing: is like not every server it would work on. Like apparently, KR really prefers 100 mans. So
true, that's very true. But for our game, 100-man guild caps with 50-man node war caps would solve a lot of problems.
Is that the solution? We just do different kinds of node war content for regions?
Yeah, it's almost like we shouldn't try to globalize every single region because every region has a different culture and community that wants different things. Crazy.
Yeah.
But they were never actually interested in globalization anyway. They just used that as an excuse to put pay to win in our game. So
probably.
Yar minigame. Yeah, when we say caps, we're referring to numbers, not gear.
Not gear.
Although tier 1, like I mean, we could just say it every week because it needs to be said, but tier 1 caps are abysmally low. Even for newer players, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Like, what is the cap for? What's it called? What's the easy cap? The lowest.
I don't know since they last changed it. Wasn't it like 210 or something? But they changed it when they changed the node system.
238.
238. Okay.
I don't know how much AP you have in your sheet when you have Pen Tuvala, but like the easy cap probably needs to be moved to the medium cap, and the medium cap needs to be moved way up because if you have Pen Tuvala, okay, you know
I am full Pen Tuvala on a level 61 character. I am 248, 250, 311.
And what's your stat screen AP when you open up the stat screen AP?
View my stat screen AP. Total stats AP is 363 and 374.
So just for finishing seasons, you are 100 AP above the cap, the hardest cap in the capped game. That's weird, right?
Yep, that's really fucking weird.
Yeah, it's strange. Anyway, but yeah, we're referring mostly to the player caps. Yeah, and are you even buffed on that character? Yeah, do you have like your node war buffs all active? Are you optimized?
I have a food buff and villa.
And do you have like proper crystals, like a proper crystal setup?
I have some. I don't remember what. I think I have Hooms and special attack evasion because Striker on season is really funny.
Oh, you were griefing people?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
I have Sula accessories so that if people come fight me and I want to meme on them, I could just throw those things on and become unkillable. Really fun.
All right.
Season is very balanced and very good for new players.
Let's go through this whole. I'm just gonna rifle through the class changes that are like significant, if I can think of them. All right. Sork got its first post renown change nerf. They removed the Shadow Eruption magical hit rate.
Post renown.
I mean, rework. I don't know why I said renown. Post. Well, actually, it might be true. Post renown, to be honest.
They finally got nerfed after all this time.
Actually, I think both are accurate. I'm pretty sure both are accurate. They got their first.
It only took 3 years.
They got their first post renown score nerf. The Shadow Eruption's magical evasion rate got removed. Doesn't actually matter that much because it's still on their new skill, Shift F in Awakening. For Succession, I think it's more impactful. They moved it to Shadow Kick, which is kind of weird. They changed Darkness Release. They did buff Shard Explosion, so now it affects 4 hits instead of, or when you have 4 shards instead of 3. And then they changed Ultimate Dark Flame's attack range point. On Awakening, they also nerfed Grim Reaper's Judgment by reducing the damage in PvP by 10%. I think I asked JM if he's mapped out the difference. Still, compared to live server, it's like a 19% damage increase compared to live server Grim, so it's still better. It's just not as good as it was initially. And then they gave them a PvE buff to Violation, the last hit of Violation for some reason. And then Zerker. What did they do to you guys, Rez? They buffed Devastation damage by 50%. I'm going to repeat that. They buffed Devastation damage by 50%.
Yep.
So Devastation hits really fucking hard. Someone now I don't know if this is an exaggeration. I don't know if it's an exaggeration when they said this to me, but someone was saying that its DPS feels like Karshan's Nightmare. I feel like there's no way that's true, but either way, it's a big ass damage buff, so it's kind of crazy.
Can't be that much.
It probably shouldn't do that much damage, but I actually don't mind it like doing quite a bit more damage, because here's the thing, right? In large scale, that thing does no damage. In 1v1s, you're already avoiding it just because of the slow alone, so you shouldn't be getting hit by it, right? So if they made it do a little bit more damage, I don't think it should be doing that much damage, but if they made it do more damage, I am totally on board with that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it should be threatening. I'm with you on that. Yeah. Okay, so moving down, let's see, Musa Mewa, you guys got the guard gauge stuff. They changed Ice Pick to have an add-on, and they also made it so you can instant cast Petal Bloom after the second hit of Ice Pick. I don't know if you tested that or how that feels.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty nice. It's really smooth actually, going from Ice Pick to Petal Bloom, and it works well with a 100%. Not that we would ever use it, but it's there as an option. And they move the attack speed.
Oh yeah, to Ice Pick. What are your thoughts on that?
So honestly, I think it's better because then you don't have to waste Moonrise to get the attack speed bonus. And I don't recall if Moonrise actually gave you the buff just outright random, like outright without actually hitting an opponent. With Ice Pick, it'll give you the buff without hitting an opponent. I'm pretty sure the Moonrise did, but I can't remember for sure. But I think it's better, honestly. It's a lower cooldown ability, and it's pretty fast. And it's a movement, so you can use it to dash around as well a little bit. But I think it fits better that it's on there.
All right, I'm gonna stream this in Discord so you can see it. We're gonna watch YoFam Steve's reaction to Devastation. Now, I don't know the gear in this clip. I don't know the gear that's going on in this clip, but this is YoFam Steve testing out Devastation on Global Labs. Let me know if that's working, if you guys can see.
Also, not to sound like a broken record, but damage on Global Labs,
sure. But this damage on this Devastation compared to the previous Devastation is you can tell the difference. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, here we go. The other guy's DP. Azu's saying that the other guy, Steve, is 316, and the other guy's DP was like 600 or 385. Okay, 385. So he's 316 AP against 385 DP. Here
So like a realistic
384.
scenario.
Okay, he's
384.
384. So the devastation.
All right.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, that's
fucking
way too
God,
much.
What
Ah,
the fuck?
what?
Oh my God.
That shit.
Look at his reaction, dude.
So what's your AP on that?
Oh, he breaking the
He can't,
fucking
he's losing
earth
it.
when he found that shit. Oh my God.
Oh my god, dude. So yeah, there's the new devastation. Congratulations,
Yeah,
Jokers. You guys
that
have a
does
trade.
way too much damage.
All right. So moving on, and congratulations to you guys. Devastation's pretty good now.
His
all right.
laugh is contagious as shit.
It is. It's a good laugh. All right. So Valkyrie, they got a down smash effect added to Prime Judgmental Light, and you can now Prime Divine Power has been improved to activate more smoothly after the third hit of Sword of Judgment. I guess that's going to be a combo-y thing. I don't know. And then they improved to link the following skills with Prime Judgmental Light and its Celestial Spear, but just connection stuff. Nothing too major for Valks in that patch. Witch Wizard got a bunch of crazy changes. So Magical Evasion has a new effect. Like depending on which pet you have out, it has kind of like just a whole new animation, which is pretty cool. Like so for example, if you have Tet out and you Magical Evasion to the side, you see a streak of lightning. If you have Gore out, you see like dust or dirt. If you're on a wizard, you see like a little splash of water behind you, or fire, depending on which one you have. Prime Voltaic Pulse got a damage buff, 200% damage per hit, and they got a 50% PvE crit buff. Help their PvE a little bit. Prime Lightning Storm High Voltage got a damage buff. Earthquake Destruction got a damage buff, and then Prime Aquagel got a damage buff. Equilibrium Break got a damage buff. But Equilibrium Break, the PvP damage remained the same. And then Awakening, let's see. So this is the one that both are the same. So yeah, those are the changes I mentioned already. And then for Succession, for Wizard Awakening, the Baptism of Water has changed so that if there's an attack target when you go forward RB, it'll stop at the target and attack immediately, so you don't have to do the super long slow animation anymore. The strike has been improved, so it feels a little bit faster. Like you can actually combo into it now, which feels pretty good. Cataclysm, the cast speed increase plus 10%, has been added for 10 seconds. So Cataclysm has the Voltaic Pulse cast speed buff. And they removed it from Bolide. Call of Fire has been changed as follows. So their SQ skill now is 10% critical hit chance for 10 seconds. And the damage got buffed. It feels insane on Global Labs. And then they buffed Aquagel's damage as well. So SQ is like, they changed the animation of this. Have you guys seen it? Did I show you guys the clips of this?
I seen some skills while I was in Global Labs yesterday.
Originally, it was just weird little, like, you can't even tell, like little sparkles on the ground. And now it's like this array of fire that floats in the air and just shoots fire missiles. It looks really freaking cool. Awakening Witch, their Baptism of Lightning, which they kind of separated the way those two skills worked when they were first released. They did basically the exact same thing. Then they changed Baptism of Lightning to a ranged skill, and it was really slow and not cancelable and had PvP damage reduction by 70%. They changed that down to PvP damage reduction plus or minus 40%, but gave it split damage. So the standard where it reduces up to 30% if there's whatever it is, like 6 or more targets, 8 or more targets, whatever it is. And they sped it up and made it so you can cancel into it with a bunch of skills. So now it's really fucking fast, and it hits so goddamn hard. Like it is. Like, imagine if Dream of Doom had, like, 5 more hits. Like, that's how it feels when you get hit by this skill. And when you combo it, you can combo it instantly after any lightning ability. So if they use any lightning skill before it, it'll, like, do the instant cast version of this new skill. And it hits very hard. They gave them the same changes to Call of the Earth, the crit chance plus 10%, and then buffed the damage on it. Equilibrium Break got a damage buff, and the pet's damage like is weird. I don't know. I was testing it with O'Leary. He'd be better at explaining it, but the pet's damage is like more consistent and actually scary. Like Equilibrium Break hits hard on right now compared to last week. So there's that. They added critical hit chance, or buffed the critical hit chance to Fissure Wave for PvE. They buffed Fissure Wave damage. They buffed Thunderstorm damage. They buffed Voltaic Pulse damage. They buffed Yoke of Ordeal damage. And they buffed the Flow to Gore Roll. So Witch got some major buffs this patch, as well as Wizard. They both kind of did. Any thoughts on that before we move into the caster meta?
It's been nice knowing everybody.
Yeah.
Class will be deleted.
I'm just gonna say one thing on this. Like I keep seeing people saying, "Well, we're going back to Wizwitch meta," and it's probably true. I'm leaning.
I thought you were gonna disagree, but then you're like, yeah, like no, it's.
I'm leaning towards it's true, but there's some differences. There's some distinct differences with this version and previously. So you got to remember on May 26th that when they nerfed casters, they also buffed a bunch of other classes, and then Nova's prime basically, like now Nova moved into their prime, and people learned Sage, and Sage became nuts, and now Corsair is out, and 17 other classes are getting reworked and buffed, and as you can see at the end of this patch, like they're even starting to look at Guardian and Hash. So the game is going to be very different. So I can't say definitively it'll be a caster meta, but because I think there's going to be ways to deal with them. For example, pre-May 26th, if a caster runs into a Suck Ranger, for example, and they're like throwing things at range, like the Suck Ranger lost that trade because they didn't have protection. And now they do on a lot of abilities, plus the Ranger damage is even higher. PA hates Maywell like Frosty. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, it'll be different. So I can't say for sure. There's going to be a lot of differences, and potentially you're going to be able to take them out. I mean, I feel confident with some of the Ninja Kuno changes. Like I'll actually be able to pick off a wizard or a witch occasionally in large scale with the way that they've been changed. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Got to see how it plays out. But eventually, if there's a critical mass of casters because of their AoEs and damage and stuff, like maybe it'll probably end up being way too strong. And then they'll get nerfed, and then they'll be sad again. And rinse and repeat. All right, Kunoichi. Dude, Kuno's Succession for the first time ever got some fucking wild changes. Like, actually wild changes. Have I talked to you about this, Nayashi, at all?
No, I don't think so.
Dude, I think
you just kind of mentioned some like basic stuff in the Discord, but nothing in detail.
Our PvE, just starting with PvE, like I was grinding on it yesterday, just messing around, and it was like grinding on live, even on Hash. Hash feels like complete trash compared to Suck Kuno on Global Labs now in PvE, which is just crazy to say because it's been so bad for so long. But the PvE is wild now. So they added 100% crit rate to Absolute Black Moonlight. They lowered the cooldown of that skill from 20 seconds to 12, which is actually, I think, a buff for both Awakening and Suck PvE because you can use it kind of in both. And then for Succession, they didn't really do any Awakening changes in this patch, but for Succession, they buffed Prime Wheel of Wrath in PvP and PvE. They sped it up. They fixed the hitbox so it actually hits like a group of mobs, and it just does way more damage. They buffed Dance Macabre. In PvP, they buffed the normal hit. In PvP, they buffed in PvE, they buffed both the normal hit and the ninjutsu explosion version. Prime Flash Slash cooldown got reduced from 15 seconds to 9 seconds, which is fucking huge, like a huge change. And they sped up the first hit if you don't move with it. If you just use it in place, the first hit comes out faster. So last week they added 2 hits to Prime Flash Slash. This week they removed those 2 extra hits and instead made it so it does its normal damage on the first hit and its normal damage again on the second hit. So it's essentially double damage from live server, which is crazy.
Damn.
Prime Shackles cooldown got reduced from 20 seconds to 12 seconds. Prime Fatal Blow from 7 to 4. They added 100% crit to Tendon Cutter for PvE only. Shadow Explosion has 100% PvE only crit as well, and now has only a 9-second cooldown. So its PvE feels wild. Like, it actually feels so good.
Did you actually go and like test it out on?
I was grinding in Secrea, and it is like, I'm telling you, it feels like I have a Hadum weapon in Secrea.
Wow.
Like, it feels so good. Like, everything does more damage. All the cooldowns are available every single pack. It feels super good.
Damn.
Like, it feels really, really good. Just like Mewa feels in PvE right now. It's crazy. On Global Labs. I know, I keep seeing people like, why can't Mewa get changed like this? Go try out Mewa on Global Labs in PvE, dude. Everything
I
hits
actually
super
haven't
hard.
tested PvE at all.
Yeah, everything hits way fucking harder. All right, so Ninja.
I'm being informed that AOA is starting.
I think it is about to start. Yeah, so I gotta. We'll just get through these real quick. So Ninja, Succession Ninja got some damage buffs for PvE, and some crit. No, they didn't get crit this time.
25 minutes. 25
yeah,
minutes
it's in 25 minutes. We'll be good.
We
Prime
got time.
Prime Frenzy, for whatever reason, they really want them to use this in PvP. It now has down attack.
We can skip over Ninja. No one cares about that class.
And they buffed Prime Shuriken Malice and Prime Evasive Malice by adding 2 additional hits to both. Now the PvP damage reduction changed from 50% to 60%, but it's still net is going to do more damage in PvP. So it's also pretty nuts. And then Awakening, they fixed some stuff. Sudden Decap got some changes. The attack speed starts earlier, etc., etc. Nothing like too crazy. Dark Knight also got some wild changes, which Mina, I knew I read it somewhere. I'm telling you, it got struck through or removed, but DK got a new ability in Awakening, which I said when a while back that they were going to, but then I couldn't find the reference to where they said it, and I still don't remember where I first saw it. But they got a new skill in Awakening, and it's kind of weird. It's like, so it follows kind of the same theme as everything that happens in Awakening DK, where like if you hold the button one way it goes forward, or if you hold it the other way it goes backwards. So it's unprotected if you move forward, it's forward guard if you move backwards, and it's just like an AoE hit that does the same damage as Flow Bombardment. They still did not get the protection added back to Flow Bombardment, so they are feel free to be sad about that. That does need to be changed.
Her reply is, you said Succession, not Awakening.
No, I did not. I did not say Oh, what? No. No, I did not. She's conflating me describing. No, I'm talking, Mina, about, remember when you tagged me and said like, hey, you said they're getting a new skill, but I don't see a reference to that anywhere. I'm referring to that conversation, not the conversation, not the debate on whether the flows being moved into different abilities count as new skills. Two separate things. Anyway, they got this new skill. They buffed Cluster Despair's damage by a couple 100%, and it flows like really quickly after a lot of abilities now too. Specifically after this new skill, it happens really, really fast. But I feel like I was talking to Etsu. He overall doesn't like any of the reworks, I guess he was saying, but he feels if Flow Bombardment had forward guard, that DK would be pretty good, in a pretty good spot. Succession got some wild changes. So both Pre-Awaken and Prime Slanted Balance now have forward guard again, but they kept the range on the CC, so now it's just a ranged forward guard float. Very similar to when Succession first came out. They improved the speed of linking Camouflage. Lunacy of Vidir cooldown got reduced from 12 seconds to 9 seconds. Prime Spirit Legacy from 11 seconds to 8 seconds. The PvP damage reduction rate of Prime Spirit Legacy changed to match reality. They slightly improved flow termination after Enforcement, and Enforcement got 2 additional hits, which is effectively a 50% damage increase. And they got guard gauge reduction on Prime Airstrike, and then sped up the activation speed of Prime Ravage Rake. So Suck got some wild changes. Like actually nuts. Striker and Mystic got a passive that ignores grapple resist 30%. So there's that. Also,
that was needed.
Their guard gauge. So they have this line of text that was confusing for a lot of people, where it's like, if the guard gauge is destroyed while moving backwards in Awakening state, has been changed to move backward in Super Armor state. So which made everyone think, why does Striker Mystic get Super Armor when they move backwards? But all it's really actually impacting, which is still kind of a weird change, is if they're E-buffed. When their E-buff is up and their block breaks, when they S-block, they still have Super Armor during E-buff. which is odd, but that's there's that. Yeah. They also removed the evasion rate reduction on the leg drop flow that got moved into its own separate ability. For Mystic, they removed the bound again from Prime Rage Hammer, so their combos will be good. They gave them a float on Twisted Collision. Rezlar, it's now identical. It's a floating forward guard. Yeah. So it's a floating forward guard. So there you go. I don't know what to make of that, but they have it. Twisted Collision is now protected float.
After years of just being sexist, they were like, "Hey guys, didn't we?" I like to imagine this is how it went. They made that change and then forgot about it, and then like years later, they're talking about the reworks, right? And then someone goes, "Hey guys, do you guys remember something about a thing we did with Mystic a while back?" And everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" Apparently we removed a float. No, I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Like they just completely forgot, and then they rediscover it during the reworks when they're looking through the class.
Well, they also rediscovered that Ninja and Kuno's evasion was not what it is described as in the tooltip, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so they removed the skill entirely.
Yeah. Pretty much.
All right, so Awakening, they got some connection stuff, the same S-block thing. They removed the slow debuff on their vacuum that they added fairly recently to the game. I believe that got added on May 26th, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's not the slow dragon that spins in a circle. That's the actual vacuum had a slow for 5 seconds. That got removed. Kind of thank God. I don't know why it needed to be on there. Anyway, they already have slow on Wave Orb and Dragon's Pit, so I don't know. One of their new skills, you can now add add-ons, actually on both of their new skills, and they sped up. I couldn't tell, like the speed of the weird range skill they have feels faster, but that skill still feels completely useless to me. I think it's just a pull skill, but I don't know. And then Earth Collapse, which is the boot stamp one, combos much, much better now, before and after skills. So that skill actually feels pretty sick. And then Alon got the block break on Blade Dance. They fixed a bug. Archer got, after using the Righteous Smite skill, the phenomenon switching to main weapon position when linking Glide to Ultimate Zephyr Leap has been corrected. Guardian got some random changes. The one thing that, I don't even know if it's on here, but they can now combo Searing Fang. They can cancel Searing Fang into Fierce Disdain after the first hit of Searing Fang. So if they want to do like the way Amertat described it to me, if they want a damage trade. And then they buffed the damage on 3 absolute abilities and Prime Claw Reveal, which is the spacebar skill. So, yeah. There's that. That's the class changes. That's all of them. There you go. So they're still changing a dramatic amount of things every single week. Yeah. I'm excited for Kuno.
There's one thing I regret not mentioning during the Maywa part, but
all right,
yeah,
mention it.
Oh well, so you know how I said the new skill Ice Pick, I kind of felt like it would have been great a few years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah,
They've been doing adjustments to it, whatnot, making things flow a lot better with it, and they added the attack speed to it. And everything's looking pretty good.
Okay,
I do wish that the initial lunge, the first hit of it, stays as it is, but the second hit, when it does basically the copied version of Frostflower, that second hit, I wish that was probably SA.
So the first hit being like the stiff whatever, and then the second hit. Can you cancel into just the second?
The first hit is stun. But wait, can I cancel what?
Can you do just the second hit?
No.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so just the second hit, which is where the damage comes from, just because that would you could then utilize it more often in like a large scale scenario, because you could potentially use it in a flanking type scenario, but if you're a little bit close to the outskirts where a lot of AoE is still going around, it might be still kind of risque.
Do you actually want to keep the stun? Is it a catch attempt?
I do like the stun.
Okay.
I think the stun's actually good. I like the skill.
Okay.
It's just like one of those things like where I said before, It just wasn't what I was hoping to get, but I do like the skill.
Okay. The second hit being super armor, though, would feel a lot better.
I think that would feel a lot better.
Okay. Gotcha.
For the intern. For
the intern. There you go. Make the second hit super armor and give Sleet Step iframe and make Chase not immune, or make Chase immune to slows.
And then package it just like that.
And then package it just like that. Oh, and fix all the bugs if there's bugs.
Yeah. And Succession, you need to keep going on Succession. Awakening done.
All right. Rez, you want to go through the comments?
Yeah, we can speedrun comments real quick.
All right.
I'm
sure we have some
I
debates,
just realized I've been doing this whole hour not on Season Arsha. Damn it. Let me put my bets away and then I'll speedrun it real quick.
No, she isn't used to talking without permission.
Shut up. Oh my god, dude.
So what I'm thinking, because we don't have a lot of time, right?
Yeah, which is sad because some of these comments are highly
did you guys like
sus.
my video?
They want us to talk about the manner changes. We're gonna have to save that for the next time.
Yeah, the manner they added stuff for the RP community that a lot of people are excited about.
I made a thing. Did you guys watch it? Frosty, I think you watched it because you said something about it.
The what? Yeah, I watched it. I'm not a fan of the song, if I'm being real, but it's obviously like a very niche song, right? It's not like a...
Yeah.
But the editing and stuff was good. Yeah, it was cool. It was unfortunate you had a Nova in the video, but yeah.
Yikes, dude.
Yeah.
I think it came out pretty decent for a first attempt, honestly. I'm pretty happy with it. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking we're gonna do, because since we have not a lot of time and we wanna we're doing this show differently, right? That's why I'm reading the comments in the first place. I'm gonna flip a coin for every comment. I'm gonna flip a coin. Nashi, your heads, and Frosty, your tails. I'm gonna say who can comment on the comment. You have to keep your comment to 10 seconds or less.
Okay. I have to use the restroom real quick though.
Okay.
And if you have no comment, you just say no comment. So if you don't have a comment, you don't have anything that you want to talk about regarding the comment, just say no comment, and then we're moving on.
Dude, you know I can't. You know I can't shut up within fucking 10 seconds. What are you doing to me?
Speedrun, baby. Let's see. Is there any that need to... No spam. No spam comments this week. Wow. Crazy. What the hell? What happened to my comments? There they are. Alright. I got them set up, sorted by new, at the bottom, waiting for Frosty to get back, and we're speedrunning the comments. Nashi, you better be quick. 10 seconds or less. You gotta keep all of your responses within that time frame. I believe in you.
Alright.
I will do my best.
Sorry about that.
You ready?
Yeah.
Why do you sound so far away?
I'm back.
Okay. Alright, here we go. So, Nashi, you're gonna be heads. Frosty, you're gonna be tails.
Okay.
I'm gonna flip it after I read the comment. So here we go. Dread Spark says, Shy is proof that Frosty is not a white knight for literally everything PA does. Unfortunately, our changes are taking longer because they're extra special and not because the single most DP focused class was excluded from having a passive. Parentheses, we literally don't have one. We just have a funsy passive like Corsair ship sailing only for alchemy/gathering. We may need to host a Shy summit to finally address the class issues. It'll probably have 8 hours of music playing followed by 1 hour of napping, then 15 hours of debate over AP versus DP builds as both try to assert themselves as the dominant spec. Then we will push actual efforts to next year's summit. Nodders, let's go. I'm going to flip the coin. And Frosty, you have 10 seconds. Go.
I don't know what he means by I'm not a white knight because of Shy. I don't know how Shy is proof that I'm not a white knight. But, yeah. That summit sounds fun.
Alrighty, Lil Porkchop says, "Dude, I'm only playing Tamer because I love Wukong. Don't fucking tell me they made a monkey class." Flipping the coin and Nyashi, 10 seconds, go.
Well, you gotta have the male counterpart, so it is what it is, you know. And plus, you know, the Tamer's a little sketch with being so young and, you know, childish looking. So there you go. This will help you out.
God.
Good lord. Lil Porkchop also says the timestamps are off by an hour after the other class changes. I'll take this one. Yes, they were. Thank you, sir. I corrected them. My bad. Jay Adams says, "Do these podcasts happen live somewhere?" Frosty, you can take this one.
Yes. Twitch.tv/SoFrosty, Twitch.tv/NotReslar, and Twitch.tv/Nayashi_New World. NA.
Oh, my shit just got minimized. I don't know what happened there. All right. The Awkward Ninja says, "Circular feedback so far, parentheses, following up a discussion in Discord. 1. Awakening is not too nerfed compared to Succession by grab changes. IMO Awakening is A+ rework due to new skills, big damage tooltips. Pray to God, pray that it transfers good, rather. Where Suck is D, as in Danny literally cried on stream. A lot of people just want rooting removed since it kind of sucks. 2. Shift Q is a 45-second cooldown, even as prime, so not viable catch unless it comes down to like a 15-second cooldown or something that can be reasonably thrown out. Is also on the 100%, which can be awkward, but whatever. Number 3, Succession has lost the predatory hunt cancel, kind of big nerf. Still has a 20-second cooldown, which is brutal for prime skill. With the loss of cancel was a removed CC catch because not really reasonable to land. 4, Prime Ancient Wave Prime Devastation has longer cooldowns than Awakening versions, which really hurts Suck again. 5, Suck Zerker kind of didn't get the AoE buffs a lot of classes got, could use some on the catches. Number 6, Free Awakening still has 2 useless skills in Falling Warrock and Weakling Hunt. Our heals are just kind of 350 HP per second, which doesn't really make up for them not being good damage or catches while having long cooldowns. All of these have really affect Suck since they don't really have much to work with, since 4 prime skills are on 15-second cooldown or more. 1 is a movement skill, 2 in beast mode. 7, IMO range grab should have the 2 grab cooldown penalty that Striker, Zerker, etc. get of the 25. So that he's saying increase the cooldown on ranged grab. So let me flip the coin here, and Nyashi, 10 seconds, go.
Just grab him. There you go. That's all I got. That's way too much.
That's all he's got. Adele Manette Rivera says, "Me, Wizard Main. We have grabs XD." Flipping the coin, and Frosty, 10 seconds, go.
Yeah, you have grabs. Double TP mouse move grab.
There you go. Juan Dima Chic, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, Frosty empathized with Wiz/Witch, arguably the strongest class when they lost SA Voltaic, but pushed for removal of SA block. Yeah, unbiased Frosty edit. Sun Wukong is a demon monkey. He was actually birthed from a rock that was used on the goddess Nuwa when she was repairing the sky. He became the leader of the monkey tribe at his place. He became a demigod or god after his journey to find a way to become immortal. Flipping the coin. Frosty, 10 seconds, go.
Did I empathize with Wizwitch, arguably the strongest class, when they lost SA Voltaic and pushed for removal of SA block? I'm pretty sure there's a clip somewhere of me playing a giant song and dancing and being happy. So, yeah. Also, am I pushing for the removal of SA block? Why is that my
You're
narrative,
over your 10
man?
second limit. You're over 10 seconds, sir. Calm down.
I hate that. Why?
All right, Hydro159. Rizlar always hates Guardians. #
True.
feels bad, man. Also, the side dash is iframe into super armor. Good, but not that reliable.
Oh my god, it's so reliable.
Jesus fucking
God
Christ,
damn it,
Guardians.
I hate that.
I like that the grab's cooldown has been nerfed. Now I hope they fix the hot hitbox. God damn, I'm struggling. On Guardians grab, both chokeslam and neck impaler, because sometimes it doesn't grab the enemy even if it's 2 centimeters in front of you, or in the case of chokeslam, just slide through the enemy. Parentheses happens a lot. And also about catching someone without grab, going to be a bit rough after the grab changes, but we got to wait and see how it feels, because if they don't change something else on Guardian, I can tell you it's going to be very hard to do 1v1s. You know what they should add? They should add death screen where you can see how much damage someone did to you before you died. Parentheses, that might be incredibly hard to implement for open world, might be easier for node war/sieges. That way DKs can shut the fuck up about not doing damage. Nyashi, 10 seconds, go.
You guys have some of the best protections in the game that you can chain together. I don't know what to say other than that. I don't hate on Guardians, but yeah, you guys are good. I don't know what you're talking about.
Lebo, I'm not sure how to say this. Frosty, you really need to start uploading your YouTube channel more often, man. We need those rants more often. Nyashi, go, 10 seconds.
Yeah, Frosty, you gotta upload more, bastard. What are you doing to your community?
Yeah, Frosty, what the fuck? Bloodwolf says at 4709, Sork can't really spam iframe because you will run out of stamina guaranteed. They all say that, and yet they constantly spam iframe, and I can't hit them no matter what the fuck I do. The same will occur now with Awakening iframe spam. If you watch any Sork fighting, it's iframe skill, etc. Need to linger or C-swap protected skills just to manage stamina. 95% of Sork CCs are unprotected, and protected skills get mixed between iframes to move, and then we CC in between, so whenever we are offensive, we are open to get CC'd. If you don't capitalize on these moments, it's your fault. Yes, if I don't capitalize on the 0.25 second moment that you are not protected, that is definitely my fault. Now we have iframe spam. The only time you do iframe spam is when you're about to die, have to get away from a ball. This is also after you attack, so you only have about 4 to 5 iframes left. And shadow leap, into nightmare, and then exit at 0 stamina. You're visible on the minimap. Our disengaged distance is still visible on the minimap as well. If one guy with a brain followed you, you will be dead. Perhaps you fight Sorks that perma iframe with hacks or something. Sadly, I don't have access to these perma iframe hacks.
Can I get this, please?
I want to get this.
We're letting it choose. We're letting it choose. Frosty, go.
Yes. Okay. I need more than 10 seconds. First of all, I don't care if your stamina runs out, because when you're at 0 stamina, you still have shards, and every time you have shards, you get to iframe. And guess what? With the reworks, you don't have to spend shards on anything in the freaking game except for goddamn iframes. All right, you have unlimited iframes. Also, your shadow leap is an iframe that recovers stamina. So when your example there, when you say you shadow leap into nightmare and come out with 0 stamina, wrong, because you gain stamina when you use shadow leap. So that's a lie. And no, everything you said is a lie. I'm sorry, it's a lie. 95% of your CCs are not unprotected because you use Grim, you use Storming Crow. You also now are going to have Shadow Eruption. You also use Dark Flame. A lot of those are very protected. And the ones that are unprotected have a very, 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 very minute window. All right, done.
All right, that's it.
So wait,
I gave you extra time. No, that's it. I already gave him extra time. We're moving on.
Damn it!
The Moosassin says, my thoughts in regards to the cooldown for grabs being longer. I think this is a good step in the right direction. Oh my god, there's so much here. However, there's still other things to be considered that PA has yet to address. SA/FG turtle classes. PA did mention they were going to do something about this. Depending on how this part is handled, the classes with SA/FG that have grabs can still hide behind their FG install. Depending on how this is done, classes without grabs have the potential to still be on the lower end, since whatever changes to FG, Q, and S block would affect them as well. Either way, I think this is good, and I welcome the grab changes. Me personally, I think Tamer's grab should be a bit higher, since she has Doggo, which adds more pressure on you, especially if you don't have a grab reliable iframe to dodge it. Then yeah, but I still like the changes though. Edit 1. In regards to Musa, I think this is good, but I'll reserve my judgment until all the reworks are completed. It's too soon to judge, but PA is definitely making headway. Also, Musa still doesn't have reliable iframe. The arrow iframe is too clunky for me, but we'll see what happens come Friday. Edit 2. As far as you guys' argument about possible solution regarding SA/FG classes with grabs being able to rotate SA even after the block is broken, here's an idea. Let SA/FG blocks still stay. However, classes without grabs on average versus any class with SA/FG that has a grab should not have an SA rotation to use. Basically, what I'm saying is, for instance, why in God Green Earth does Guardian have 20 plus SA skills, much of which isn't even used? Guardian complained about slow, but a slow SA skill means you can stay in SA animation longer. Back to my suggestion, all classes don't have a grab versus classes with no SA/FG block that have grab, and classes with SA/FG block that have a grab should not have SA skills to actually do a complete SA rotation like classes that have no grab. Sork is an exception since they just spam iframe. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, they do. Tell them, Moosassin. Tell them.
Those comments back to back is the duality of
all
man.
Sorks do is spam
Frosty,
iframes.
go. 10 seconds.
All right. I just want to say I agree. Sorks do spam iframes. They are the exception. Bastard Sorks.
Avin Noctiu says, who cares about grab hitbox as long as desync exists? You'll just get grabbed regardless. Frosty, 10 seconds, go.
I mean, you're more likely to get desync grabbed if the hitbox is huge, so even you should care about it.
All right, Mr. Spectacular 37 says, another banger. Also, which class benefits from using DR build? Thanks. And this one's going to Nyashi. 10 seconds, go.
DR build, pretty much every class can benefit from using DR build, but shit, which ones? I guess Warrior would be one of the ones that benefits the most.
It's easier to say the ones that don't, dude. Just don't do it on Striker Mystic. The others you probably can.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Clo Killer 1 says they had so much good momentum in the summer and then it all went to shit. I think they try to do weird works now, so they have new stuff to release around the time Lost Ark comes out. This one's going to Nyashi. Go.
Please don't fall into the Lost Ark trap again. Just don't do it.
What does that mean?
All right.
What Lost Ark trap?
He doesn't want to elaborate and his time's over. Alucard says, the worst thing besides resist is when I CC a striker or mystic on the grab attempt. I do a combo because it's so short they get up and grab anyway after they resist the second CC. That was so stupid. I think it's a great change. If anything, make the cooldowns a little bit longer, 17 seconds. And I think DK changes so far are amazing. Damn near busted. They spelled near NE''ER. Interesting. Damn near busted shattering change. I don't know why. Also slanted nerf. Not a fan. Actually used slanted a lot. One of my primary CCs, but overall amazing changes. This one's going to Nyashi. Go.
Yeah. Honestly, I lost all that. Let's see.
What is happening over in
I
that
don't
brain,
know.
dude?
It's
imagine
past my bedtime.
if you could somehow see through Nyashi's skull, I'm pretty sure it looks like a dryer just spinning clothes around.
We're almost done. We're getting there. Andros Luengo says, I always hear you complaining about how unbalanced are range grabs. Did you consider how it affects classes that lack mobility than others have? As an example, Corsair Sage have insane mobility compared with Nova Succession, which I am, by the way. Just saying, because you complain about Nova Awakening, which I agree with it being OP, but I believe you don't consider on how those nerfs will affect Succession. Just reached the resist part of the video. Couldn't disagree more with what PA states more. I believe that resists are quite awful for the investment you take to have them for what they do. While I do agree with the fact that you shouldn't be able to resist while you already CC'd, what kills the game more is perma super armor rotations, where you pretty much have immunity to all CCs except grab, then the resist system. If you have basic buffs and equipment, you're already nullifying most of the resistance that enemies have. Elcars plus Vel, Kron, buff, Kudum already nullifies 44% of all resist, 4% all resist from 4 Hooms nullified, 10% grab resist from 2 Black Magic, Precision nullified, 50% Kitty bound, 10% stun stuff freezing resist from Adamantes, 10% left of the first second nullified. Crystals spin to bypass resistances too. Crystals countered 8. Sound pretty insane to me that people are complaining about resistances, but like I said, yeah, I agree the issue of resisting while ADCC, you shouldn't be able to. New systems sound absurd. 44% base ignore resist from default items buffs. It drops maximum from 80% to 36, which is laughable, but I have to admit, it is funny, though nobody complains about classes being able to rotate super armors instead. Nyashi, go.
I mean, yeah, I think for them commenting on they're weirded out by people being upset about the resistances and whatnot. I think the changes that PA did is pretty solid. I think it's going to have pretty profound impact on both large scale and 1v1, and I'm interested in seeing how it's going to play out for people's like gear sets. And when people swap out resistances that they would primarily focus on, they're going to inherently make it easier for people to CC them in the long run. So that's what I foresee happening. And I think
all right, 10 seconds, Nyashi. 10 seconds. Methios War says, I'm also whining about Suck not getting buffed. They're the ones that shoved Suck in our face while number one, they wanted it, couldn't handle balance as was. They wanted Suck, so make it work. I don't know exactly what that means, but Nyashi, go. 10 seconds.
I mean, I agree that a lot of classes' successions are not getting the proper reworks like they should. And
wow, seriously, says, listen, I'm so tired of hearing Zerkers sound like victims when they are meta class right now. Do you know meta means above average and possibly broken? Awaken over other class being more broken is not a valid point as well. Zerkers, since the bond skills have gained ways to CC outside of grab, don't need further compensation. Also, to Frosty's point stated in his stream recently, the context being toward Maywa of what or how to buff the class, he stated damage can fix a lot of problems, which Seismic has done. They have already reworked Titan Blow to become good, and another new skill that's good already given in the reworks, effectively spreading out the damage outside of Q buff. Is beyond ridiculous how entitled the Zerker community is when they've gotten some of the most significant buffs to address the main issue of being good outside of Seismic and Q buff and large scale. It's just crazy how when you look at Zerkers complain when their complaints or concerns were positively addressed, unlike other classes. Also, the whining about nerfs to grabs when they don't even use every grab, and also reduced one of the grabs by 5 seconds as well. Nyashi, go.
I don't agree with damage being the solution to a lot of problems. I mean, in some cases it might, but ultimately I think a combination of damage, utility, and other aspects that benefit a class would ultimately fix it. So,
All right, XY says, you said you don't want Tamer's grab to be worse, such as being slower, so tell me how you expect Suck Tamer to catch people now. Scratch no longer CC, Surging Tide no longer CC, Throat Burn no longer CC, you can't spam Roaring. The only good CC Suck Tamer has left is if the grab becomes slow grab, is Fearful Trembling. Do you expect Suck Tamer to catch people with Upward Claw, Trample, Stretch Kick, or do you want Suck Tamer to hide and Void Lightning and Roaring forever? Wait for someone to run into it. Well, you can't even do that because the pet stops doing the pet CC as soon as the Tamer takes damage now. Hopefully by the time you read this, the Scratch and Surging Tide nerf will be reverted. Nash, you go. Frosty, you're getting fucked on these.
Sorry. I agree that the scratch change was actually kind of surprising. I did not anticipate that happening, and kind of feel like that should be reverted. Yeah, because then you're just basically playing around your void and your pet, trying to get a CC for you more often, or just focusing on grab, and it's just a weird strategy.
Awaken Mystic Main says, not everyone agreed, and yes, indeed, the devs, much like you on the podcast, do not fully think things through, how this affects classes outside pure 1v1 vacuum, it seems. Example being when PA was cried about and Frosty could not understand how nerfing PA would buff range classes even further. They arbitrarily nerfed every grab without taking into account what classes can deal with blocks if a grab is resisted. Am I now meant to ask Valks and Warriors if I can Gushing Waters their blocks down? I can't wait to see Valks in group play just sit and block SA Heal, go back into block to drool some more. Also, if S blocks are nerfed on live, the imbalance between ranged and melee classes will be... And then I have no option to click read more, but I'm assuming there's more.
There isn't any more. This is auto Frosty, in my opinion.
All right.
This is the statement Frosty could not understand how nerfing PA would buff range classes even further. I never couldn't understand the concept of that. The problem was it's not reason enough to not nerf PA. PA was a crutch that needed to be changed dramatically. It was really bad. I still don't like the way PA works. I still think it buffs too much. I think it's still way too relied on. So yeah, no. I did understand it, and I appreciate the condescension, but you are wrong.
I'm pretty confident, I don't mean to take us over time, but I'm pretty confident that if you go back in the podcast to when we talked about PA needing to be nerfed, we also said that it needs to be, you need to buff the tankiness of melee classes as well. Otherwise, they'll just get fucked.
All right, we're in a rush. Hyper rush.
We're in a rush. Okay. Edgekin Esmer, need more guests. Invite not the worst DK streamer. We'll take it into consideration. Thank you. Daz says, TBH, I don't care much about the ball anymore except for the free stuff. That is a very reasonable opinion to have. Nothingness King says, I wish you guys had more console players to get their input for reworks. I think we need to hear both sides of the community because pushing stuff through with only PC feedback really affects console. I can tell you right now, Zerk on console seriously hate the Zerk rework. My understanding is that console's kind of dead. Sorry, brother. Alexander,
we could bring on Sly or Guido or something.
We could bring on a console guest. We should look into that. But my understanding is that console's really kind of struggling these days. Alexander Auxier says, okay, these DK changes made me sad. Maybe they'll revert Shattering Bombardment changes. Also, why nerf Slaying and Balance for Awakening, then not give it range change they gave Succession. Frosty, you got anything to say on this?
Well, they reverted the slanted thing. So, yeah. But I agreed with his thought, but they reverted it anyway, so yeah.
Sven Hun says, I still wish Succession never happened. All this time was just been actually balancing classes the way they were. Nash, you want to take that?
Yeah, that's probably fair to say. I mean, you got to understand, though, people like the old styles, and that's why they also opted to implement Succession. So it is what it is. Yep. You just got to take it for what it is.
Dark Shadow says, I love resistance in PvE, but I hate it 1v1, especially classes get it naturally via passive cough cough suck Valk. But I think they are necessary in large scale IMO, but I would be okay with them in PvE only. I would agree with that sentiment. Swee says, sometimes I just want to see Musa nerfed to the ground so we can all see Baking Cake Smelly Face drop ones more. E.g. make Musa chase has rubber banding effect of spam, or when chased 2 times in a row, decrease health by 5%, wink wink in turn. While on the topic of classes, are you guys hyped about the new class? According to the Chinese legend, Wukong is a divine demon monkey, not an ape Frosty, who can shapeshift at will and rides a magic cloud. Anyway, well done, guys. Love the podcast. Listen to you even when I am sad or having a bad. Such an entertaining show. Bear 4th host, please. He spells bear wrong, too, which I love. Frosty, thoughts about not an ape?
I agree all of it.
I agree all of it. We should have Scared Bear as the 4th host. I agree. Martinas Nalivika says arenas could make so many people happy. Personally, would motivate myself to learn more about PvP, which I am interested in, but feel like DFS or RBF is just not enough. Yes, arenas, please. We talked about this before. For the love of God, please. please. Laggy Skills says, great podcast as always. Big shout out to Reslar for slaying the casting on the 3v3 tournament thing. Casting had me hyped to watch, really made it more enjoyable, especially when there's 1 million things happening in 1 second. Frosty, please give Reslar a pad on the head. I need a pad, sir. I love you all. Keep looking forward to the podcast every week. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Minaria says, rejoice, fellow Vidir. We battled hard with bloodied swords and sharp words, and alas, we were victorious. Our precious slanted frontal guard has been returned to us. Please do not lay down your weapons, as we have yet another foe to conquer. From tomorrow, we shall march on bombardment, wring victory from the hands of yet another opponent. Ready your swords, and we shall conquer. Or we shall win once again. Frosty?
Yes. Sorry, I'm watching the tournament's begun.
No, you're good. RNG Anomaly says, I'm sorry, but Berserker has the hardest hitting skill, maybe the longest cooldown, but come on, maybe you won't have Grant connected. I cannot read this comment. I'm sorry. You core skills, straight up best BSR. Okay, so basically Zerker is broken because seismic and BSRs. Got it. WoW seriously says, how did they prioritize reworks with certain succession kits? Little to no negative attention compared to their counterpart, i.e. Zerk, Musa, Maywa, Tamer, CC potential, and Sork. Focusing reworks as an excuse for no content only works when every kit is addressed.
Digital took the first round against Cho.
Oh no. Yeah, Suck needs more love in the reworks. All right, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. Frosty has
sorry
to
about
do
the time crunch, guys.
Tournament thing. Yeah, sorry for the time crunch. We're going to be taking next week off because it is Thanksgiving weekend, so you won't see a show from us next week. But yeah, check out our Twitch streams, twitch.tv/SoFrosty, /NotReslar and /Nashi_NA can all be found in the description. Thank you to the patrons, thank you to the Twitch subscribers, and we'll see you all next week.